What this world going to? All right, we live right now. Lord, I'm going down me. This is a line that you. Hey, because I'm a thug. Okay, and all right. We are live, Chapapa TV, part two of the Unfiltered talk. Got my man's back from the capital. And right here, he has the name of his YouTube channel. Just write subscribe before that so people can know to subscribe. Jorge.
Say it again.
Right on your title, write subscribe right before your YouTube name, where it's on the bottom, so people know to subscribe. I'm gonna put the link up right here. Okay, and here we got Dre. Dre just hopped in.
Gentlemen,
Yo, what's
How
good?
you
What's
doing,
good?
sir? How you doing? Good evening.
Good evening,
can you
brother.
hear me?
Yeah, we hear you perfectly.
How come I can't hear you guys? I can't hear you.
You can't hear?
None of us? Me neither?
Test. Leave and come
Gonna,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Let me add Javier. All right, we got Javier from the beginning. For the beginning of this live, great stuff. Javier, good evening. First of all, before we get started, still waiting on Truth, still waiting on Brown Spade. Dre's working out some technical difficulties. I'm about to drop the link for those of you who were asking last time for Jorge's channel. I need all you guys to go and subscribe to Jorge's channel right here. This is the link right here in the comments. Need you guys to please definitely go subscribe to the channel, show some love. Gonna be a lot of great content coming from Jorge out of the Dominican Republic. So
I
make
don't know
sure
about all that.
that I'm telling you, make sure you guys subscribe. Yo, so tell us a little bit what you was getting into this weekend.
Oh, we went to Marbella Beach, which is in the capital, but closer to Wandolio.
Okay.
Gentlemen,
Yo,
Yep.
Jay, what's good, brother? You hear us?
oh yeah, I'm good now.
Perfecto.
Javier's is muted out, I think.
Yeah, Javier probably still getting set up, but all good. But yeah, brother, continue. Where'd you go with the moms this weekend?
We went to Marbella Beach. It's in Wandolio. It's like a condominium that they have a pool, private beach, restaurants, everything right there.
Okay.
That's
It's
what's
like
up.
a small beach town. It's not too far from Boca Chica. I mean, most people know Boca Chica, so it's probably like 35 minutes. We actually went to Boca Chica to this restaurant called Neptune.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So it was
Yeah,
cool.
when we went out there, we went to Boca Chica. So now when you guys make certain statements, I understand what you're talking about. We had a
Yeah.
good time there. Good food, good drinks. Yeah.
Yep. Definitely like to go out there to eat is cool, but as far as for me to go to the beach out there, negative.
You know what?
It's like you going to Clock Tower, Jay.
Yeah, man. It had that vibe. It's kind of funny that you would say that. It did come across with that type of vibe.
Yeah.
Really? I haven't been to Boca Chica yet, surprisingly. So what's the vibe like out there for the beach?
I mean, it's like for me, I feel like it's like another Sasua
Mm.
for the most part.
All right, I'm on, guys.
All right,
All
Javier,
right,
good evening.
brethren.
Good evening.
Good
What's going
evening.
on? What's going on?
Perfecto. All right, so we got 4 out of the allotted 6. I think this is great. For those of you now joining in or watching this live after, we are continuing part 2 from the great live we had Saturday. I just want to say thanks again for Dre taking time out of his schedule all the way out from Colombia. Javier taking time out. Jorge just got back to Santiago today from the capital. We're going to talk about that a little bit more, but we're going to continue the unfiltered talk on the experience living in the Dominican Republic. But before that, if you guys are new to the channel, first off, thank you. And I need you guys to go subscribe to both of these channels you see right here, Love Crossing Borders and My Journey with Mom on YouTube. Great brothers, great work in the YouTube community. Very educational on all levels, especially with Jorge. Let's try to get Jorge up to 500 subscribers by the time May comes. I know you guys can show him that love that you showed me, that you showed Dre. Let's get Jorge on his YouTube feed. It's gonna be a great channel, y'all, and I need you guys to all tune in. I dropped a link down in the comments right here for Jorge's channel, so make sure you guys go subscribe to the brother. Go and come back. Go subscribe, come back. I ain't gonna start the show for another 20 seconds. Gonna find out how these brothers' day was. So you guys
appreciate
subscribe
you.
to Jorge. Yeah,
I appreciate it.
So Dre, how'd your day go?
Oh, it's going pretty good, man. Had some business to take care of with my banks in the States, but other than that, everything is going good. It was actually a day where I thought I was going to be able to get some sleep finally. Yeah, that ain't working.
Hey Jay, I don't know how you do it, man. You seem like you a machine, man.
Man, I actually did the 2 live streams with Andrea last night. Then after that, I re-edited them and re-dropped them, and then I said, well, since I'm already up, like I usually am, I think I talked to Richie Mack for a second, and then I ended up recording 2 videos for today that would drop for our other channel to drop in the morning and then drop in the evening. And so I said, okay, I got those recorded, got them edited, got them uploaded. This is about by 11 o'clock. So I said, I give me some sleep. I say, I'm going to on Chapapa TV. That's my whole plan for the day. I get a call from my bank, my business manager in the States, the bank. And so I had to take care of business with them for about 2 or 3 hours. So I finally got a chance to go to sleep, and shout out to one of my partners that sent me sleep meditation music that allows me to just knock out immediately. And so I just made sure that I got up maybe about an hour and a half ago so I'm probably running on like maybe 3 hours of sleep, but that's the norm.
Man.
Okay. What about you, Javier? How'd your day go?
Not too bad. Kind of a slow day, just trying to enjoy a little bit of better weather up here. That's about it for the most part. Didn't have too much going on today, just kicking it with the family.
When's the next time you're coming back to the DR?
In the summer, actually.
Okay, all right, cool. You're gonna be in Santiago?
Yep.
All right, cool, perfect.
Let me ask you guys: is summer in DR the same as it is in States?
Yes.
Is it?
Do they have 4 seasons? Because here in South America they don't have 2 seasons. It's summer and winter.
I feel like it's 2 seasons here too.
I feel like we have that time of the year when it's a little bit of rain, but you're still gonna have your hot sun.
Oh, we had an earthquake last week.
Oh
man, this is my second one dealing with it, man. And in 5 years, I'm sitting. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Andrea's asleep. I'm in the living room and I'm watching a Batman movie. The latest one that just came out. I'm watching it for the second time. If you get a chance, check it out. Probably the best Batman movie they've had, hands down, because they made it into like a horror flick. And so I'm watching this. All of a sudden, I feel the couch. I mean, just literally just moving under me, and it only lasted like a split second. It was like, whoa, and it was like it was going through town. And so I'm like, did I just feel what I felt? Because I recognized it from a couple years back. So I go up to come in the room to check on Andrea. She's already jumped out of the bed because she's used to them, so she already know. And Andrea was telling me, she said, when you feel the first light one, that means that the rough one is either coming right after or it's going to become the day after. So fortunately, nothing rough or bad happened, but Cali does get earthquakes.
Wow, earthquakes in Colombia. I learned something new tonight. Definitely, that's something.
All over Colombia, they get earthquakes.
Definitely
all over.
Definitely something that wasn't mentioned on the channels before. But thank you, Dre, for.
We get them there in DR too.
Yeah, not a DR doesn't get them as bad as Haiti, but you will get them, like, and especially me being on the top floor. Like I feel the littlest ones. Like some people won't feel them, the others won't. But I feel like the littlest earthquakes. Like even when I'm sleeping 2, 3 in the morning. I think we had like one, serious one from the Haiti one last year. Other than that, rarely earthquakes here in DR. Maybe like a little quake, but nothing too.
That has always amazed me that Haiti gets the death, the death-defying earthquakes, and you guys would be right connected to the same island, and y'all get like a little tap, and
It's
the
their
whole
infrastructure too. Like their infrastructure isn't as sound as here. I know Chopper always talks about the infrastructure being so bad here, but the way they build over there, man.
and you would think it would be different because when I was there, and correct me if I'm wrong, all I saw was Haitians building up DR.
Yeah.
So you sort of said labor.
It's not just that. I think the side of the island where Haiti is like directly on a fault line. So that's why they feel it.
Yeah.
There's a fault line because there was one. It was like a few months ago. I remember my aunt was talking about it. And the epicenter was actually all in the ocean, like between Jamaica and DR, which obviously is the Haiti side of the island.
Yeah, so it's definitely a fault line thing. Same infrastructure, bro. All right, fellas. So let's get ready to start this show up. Whoever's gonna jump in. But let's get to it. All right, so tonight's episode of Unfiltered Talk, we're gonna continue this off, not keep it as long as the last one, but on YouTube, like I've stated before, we all come across the positives of an expat hub in different countries, whether it be Colombia, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Thailand. We all come across the positives. But what happens when you come here and you're experiencing all the negatives for the first time that nobody has warned you about? So here I have Jorge.
Like earthquakes.
I have Jorge in the Dominican Republic here to speak his piece on the negatives you hear about. Dre is going to share his piece of Colombia, and Javier, being Dominican, living in the States, but he travels to the Dominican Republic back and forth, will speak his piece and give you guys the facts on the negatives that you should be aware of before getting up to move to these countries. Now, I'm going to pass the mic over to Jorge because Jorge was saying before this live, he was talking about the timing and doing what and knowing when it feels right. So, Jorge, continue what you were saying before.
You mean with the Russian people rushing? Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's just common sense with everything. Like when you move to another country, you've been living, let's just stay in the States for 30 plus years. You didn't find everything overnight. You know what I'm saying? You took your time to learn the area. It's just like I live in Maryland. If I move to Florida, it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. The way people talk, the way people move, the way people conduct business is gonna be different. If I was to get up and go to Colombia, it's gonna be different from DR, right? So I think that you have to use common sense and you have to take your time. Just take your time. It ain't no rush. I see like most people, as soon as they move, they like want to conquer the world. I don't understand that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that does happen. It's amazing how fast. I've noticed that those that have been successful in their relocation are those that have taken their time in doing it.
Yeah.
Because my migration was 3 years. From the time I said, "Hey, I'm moving to Colombia," after a few trips, that was a 3-year journey of getting my money in order, getting my economics in order, getting a lot of guys don't even think about medical records. Like I had my knee replaced. I had to have my medical records just in case I ever need to replace again. I've had my family has high blood pressure history, so I had to make sure that I had my high blood pressure pill medications and all those things, and so just straight physical history. So a lot of guys, they move to DR or they move to Colombia and they forget all about their own medical history that they've been dealing with all those years, especially us older dudes. And so you're absolutely correct. So when I say I took 3 years, it looks easy on YouTube, but it was a take my time journey in regards to finally coming to the States and coming from the States and not having to go back.
Right. So before we continue, let me say what's up to people in the comments. Shout out to Curtis, Dollar Will, Haitian Gunman.
What's up, guys?
Good evening. For those of you who don't know, you guys know Dre, you guys know Jorge, but Javier and Truth. Javier and Truth are two of my subscribers that we were interacting back and forth in the live, and I thought, why not have the brothers here? Truth actually lives in the Dominican Republic. He has about 1 year living down here. I didn't know, lives in the San Pedro La Romana area. Young expat, just like me, but more low key now in the YouTube community. Respect that, but definitely shout out to these two gentlemen tonight. So thank you guys. I want to see you guys active in the comments tonight. I know you're gonna have your questions on positives and the negatives of both countries. Got Dominican Republic, Colombia here for you. Got the experience all over, different experiences. And with experiences, I want to share with you guys what happened with me today. So I uploaded a video on the process with the lawyer. I basically had to go run this lawyer down. Like, hey, lady, you know what's going on? So ran the lawyer down. No, joking around, but she explained. I put the video up for you guys, wanting to know what's going on in the scheduler process. Last I explained, it got rejected because the embassy in New York messed something up, and she had to fix it. Whatever. So we're still on the move with that. But she said something to me today that really, really stuck out as a professional and as a lawyer. I had asked her what was up with the real estate business we had spoken on and agreed on and things like that. And she told me that it's hard, even her being Dominican, it's hard to, she said, poner peso, to put weight on the words of the Dominican people here. And I had to stop and think. I'm like, what does she mean by that? She's like, basically, she's saying that it's hard on every type of level to trust the word of the people here, whether it's business, family, pleasure, friends, whatever. She's saying it's hard, even for her. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, she's a well-known lawyer. I'm like, even for her to just openly say this about her island, her culture, the people, it's like some things you really, really, you can't even take that with a grain of salt. You're gonna have to take the whole beach with that. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I mean, I can comment on that. My girlfriend's father's a lawyer. He's been a lawyer for over 30 years, and there's tons of people that he does a job for them. They don't pay him, and it's just just how it is, man. People are just they take advantage. They use you, and if they can't pay you or if it's about money, they screw you over, and that's just how it is. It's just the mentality here, man. I told you, it's survival mentality. They live for today, not for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Javier? What do you have to say about that?
It's definitely the way it is for the most part. Obviously we're overgeneralizing, but there's a good chunk of that. You're definitely, and it's one of those things where you get caught up in the loop, right? Of wanting to progress, but at the same time, like I said before, that it's not for a lack of laws or rules. It's society. When stuff becomes a roadblock for them, it becomes a problem, right? So if you ever ask any, not just anybody, but like the general public on the street who's not really in a politics like that, or who's not a real professional, let's call it, and ask them about the president or whatever, hands down, all of them will tell you that they want to get rid of him. But then if you ask them who they voted for, the guy who's in office now.
They voted for him.
They gave the people a bag of food.
Yeah,
it's
la
like, here, vote
funda.
for me, and the people voted for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it ends up being that, and same thing where other things that might come into play, like they might have an issue, let's say, with landlords, and just like Kelvin said on that other live about living out your deposit and whatever, that's one thing there too. Whenever you rent somewhere there, for the most part, and you'll probably see this in the States too with private landlords, like people who own one rental property, where they're bad landlords. Whenever you need something fixed, it takes them forever to get there. But when that rent's due, you better believe you better. So same thing over there. Whenever the rent's due, they're going to be hounding you for the rent if you're late or whatever the case may be. But if you got a problem, for the most part, you know, you better wait on it for it to get fixed or whatever. So even for Dominicans who are looking to rent places, you know, if all of a sudden, oh well, you know, they want your cedula, they want you to sign a contract or whatever, you'll hear Dominicans say, oh, you know, oh, que tantos requisitos, esto, lo otro, pretty much saying, you know, oh, why so many requirements or whatever, or just because they got a little bit of money and they got a place to rent, whatever, they want to, you know, act like they're all that and not, you know, give them the apartment. But,
Okay.
you know, when they turn it around, like I said, whenever stuff becomes a roadblock for them, it becomes an issue.
For
But they
everyone.
always want stuff to work perfectly and work right, but they don't put their part forward.
They're walking oxymorons. So I want to direct this question to the panel, but before I do, you guys know I got the football out right here. You know, I'm gonna say I don't have to repeat it. But question to the panel, and any of you guys can answer: is it wrong? I'm gonna use myself as an example. Would it be wrong for me watching this video right now, and I'm in New York, and I'm planning to come retire down or move down to the Dominican Republic? Is it wrong for me to pack up and hop on that plane with the stigma that the people here are grimy, and I'm gonna get screwed over and disappointed and let down at almost 95% of my expertise here?
I mean, I'll answer that.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Nah, I mean, that to me is like, I've heard Dre say this plenty of time. You attract what you are for the most part. And like he always say, we are the common denominator, right? So me personally, I can just speak for myself. I always tell you, I don't go through that type of stuff because in my circle, I require, it's not an option. I require a certain level of respect and professionalism. I require it. Like you, Chapapa, you my boy, but you can't come at me with certain type of stuff, right? We move, you know, a certain kind of way. Just like Dre, if I come to Colombia, I'm gonna have a certain level of respect for him. He's gonna have a certain level of respect for me. So as a man, you have to require certain things, and people treat you accordingly. When you went to my mechanic, how'd that go?
Perfect.
Have you talked about it?
Going to right now because
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna
when
get
you went to my mechanic, was he professional?
very.
That's what I require. I'm not doing business with a person that, oh, you gonna gringo price me. Oh, you're not gonna respect the money that I'm not doing that.
Hey,
So I don't never, me personally, like I always tell you this, I never ever have those type of issues. Me personally, I can't say I do.
I'm gonna explain to you about a good 40% of the reason why you never have those type of issues. You're a homebody.
Jorge looks scary.
Nah, it ain't that. It's that.
You're a homebody. You're not
I'm joking.
out, you're not out to like be exposed to different types of situations or people because it's just you, your mom, and your car. So like Javier and Trufa say, there are plenty of situations that bring out that really show the survival's mentality, the dog eat dog culture.
But it's
Now,
like Dre say though. It's like Dre say, if you're dealing with a group of people that are bottom feeders, right? Like Dre be saying, bro, if you're in the barrio, if you're at the Cormadon, if you're at the hangout spot that you can get a beer for 10 cents, you're gonna expect a certain level. Me personally, well, let me not say you're gonna expect. I'm gonna expect certain type of stuff if I go to Fridays. I'm gonna expect one service, as opposed to if I go to Roost Chris, you're gonna expect certain kind of services, right? So when you're dealing with a person that is from the barrio, not to say that there's bad, all people in the barrio are bad, or if you're dealing with a person that's from that lifestyle, like I'm from Maryland, you can go to certain parts of Baltimore that you probably shouldn't be, right? You probably shouldn't be, because if you deal, not to say that everybody in that neighborhood is bad, but if you deal with people in that neighborhood, you have a certain type of expectation. So if you're hanging out with certain people that are not educated, like Dre said, are not don't know how to read and write for the most part, They on survival mode, like Javier and True said. They on survival mode. So
You know,
guess
you know that's my word too, Chop.
deal with a lot of bullshit. But if you're dealing with professionals, like Dre said, you're dealing with professionals, you're gonna get a different level of experience. I don't deal with people.
There's
Everybody in my life is in my life by choice, and you're in my life with an assignment. You're there to enhance my life. If you can't enhance my life, I don't need you around me.
Correct.
That is straight like that's non-negotiable. I'm almost 40 years old. What the hell I look like having a drinking buddy? Like, hell nah. That don't make no sense to me at 40. No, you're in my life for a reason. So the person that you are, I check the boxes. Okay, this person, good character. Okay, this person, this, and those are the people that I hang with. I have never had like them type of bad experience. I've never been robbed. I've never been, a chica get me for my money or none of that. Because I don't do that type of stuff.
Okay.
And you seen my WhatsApp.
Yeah, WhatsApp jumping like Jordan. Listen, y'all, if you guys ain't subscribed yet to Jorge's channel, make sure you guys go type that in right there. My journey, mom. Dre, I want to ask you, when you here to talk about the Dominican Republic, because I don't know if there's any other channel that covers down in depth, like the good and the bad. Is there anything that you hear from here that reminds you of Colombia, or is Colombia less survival of the fittest, less crab in a barrel, less dog eat dog?
Colombia is not as much as crab in a barrel because each location is different from it's 5 states. Each state's food, music, behavior, people are completely different. The people from the coast, the Atlantic coast, the Pacific coast, which are Cartagena, Barranquilla, Chocó, and Santa Marta, those are the coastal people. So as many of you will know, Medellin, people that are in Antioquia, in other words, that state, completely different behavior, completely different. Even their accents is completely different. The Paisa accent is completely different. So in Colombia is different. But the one thing that Colombia does have, which DR has, it has a dictatorship democracy mindset. We have to remember that these countries were under dictatorship for years, and that's all these people know is one person tell me what to do, and I don't know how to think for myself. I don't know how to be analytical. I don't know how to be use cognitive behavior or mindset. They don't know how to use that. Not saying all people are like that, but you can. I'll give you a perfect example. It's called flea training. And what they used to do, they tell the flea circus that we've heard of, but many of us know about. You take the fleas, put them in a jar. They will hit the top of the lid and constantly hit the top of the lid. And then they'll stop hitting the top of the lid. And you can take the lid off of the jar. And the fleas will not jump out because they've been trained to not think that they can go any further. Another one is like elephant training. When you go to the zoo or the circus, you see the elephant, or you see it on television, gigantic 3,000 pound elephant, and they got a stick in the ground holding it with a rope. And you like, don't the elephant know it can walk away? But that elephant, since it was a kid, tried to pull away from that stick. And when it couldn't do it as a youth, it thinks it can't do it as an adult. Even though they have a democracy to where they can vote, they all, whether it be DR, Colombia, and all of South America, because I actually did some homework on their history, they all come from a dictatorship, even though they live under a democracy. They have the right to vote, but they just like I always say, they always remind me of those flock of birds that you see in Africa that all fly at the same time and it looks so beautiful, but it's still a beautiful chaos. And that's what I notice about here in Colombia. And I think it's the same thing that goes on at DR. Now, when I hear guys talk about DR and women talk about DR or Colombia or any other country, the mistake I think many of us often make is we wish that how we would want our utopia to be in that location, and it's not. It's not. And I'm with Jorge. I haven't gotten robbed. I don't hang in those type of circles. I don't hang in certain circles in the States. in the States, people say, man, I got partners in the States that be like, man, Dre, man, you act stuck up, man. You get to the, we take you to the bar, you act like you ain't trying to hide nothing. Dude, this ain't me. This ain't my circle, dog.
And Dre, real quick, and aside from the people, I even heard you say it on multiple lives that there's certain parts of town where you've only drove through once, and that was probably because you didn't have a choice.
Yeah. I don't deal with certain type of people, certain areas. When you guys come here, I don't take you to certain areas. You deserve better. And so what I think that guys try to go to DR, and because the cost of living is so low, they cut costs when it comes to quality of life. You cut costs and you allow people that are not, let's put it like this. A lot of these countries are set up by classism. I love that. Because I think after I bust my butt for 50 years, I deserve to go to the best restaurants and be able to walk in there and afford those best restaurants. And just like Jorge said, deserve to have the best mechanics working on my vehicle. Doesn't matter the cost, but a lot of times dudes go to DR or to Colombia, and they go to locations and work with the mechanics that the Colombians work with. They broke. You not. Why? You don't have a broke mentality. So why are you over there in groups of people where you will end up eventually having to complain and be upset and disappointed because their class does not support your class? That's like Jay-Z now trying to go back to his same projects. And Jay-Z, that's not your projects no more, brother. You're past that.
That's because in their mind, that's where the party's at.
Right. So, that's true.
So I want to
only parties at.
I want to clear something up, and Javier, let me know if there's anything on the last statement that you
bottom feeders mentality
with your knowledge can contradict. So I don't want you guys to watch this and take all of what Jorge said, not saying what he's saying is wrong, but to say, all right, if I avoid this certain area and I go over here, it won't happen to me. I feel that's false. I feel there are trials and lots of errors to go through unless you have recommendation like Jorge says, like Jorge did the other day. Hey, I got this mechanic, no BS, let's go. Or go to Columbia. Jay's like, hey, listen, I got this type of this setup, so it's legit. But besides that, there's a lot of trial and error. Javier, what is it about what Jorge says that you could maybe add on to that won't confuse folks? Because
I'll say that not necessarily that you can avoid it all 100%, right? But there is a distinction to it. And actually, Russell said it best on one of his videos once, that he said that his brother needs to remind him sometimes, is it a problem or an inconvenience? And I'll say that where it won't be all perfect like Jorge has encountered, but for the most part, if you move right, you're not going to run into like major end of world problems. Right. There'll be inconveniences. Right. Yeah, I mean, you can't. You'll go into a restaurant, even a good one, and end up with bad service sometimes, or whatever. You might end up with a mechanic where he does you right all the time, but that 10th time, something happened because some other person that doesn't move like him in his family is pulling him back and stuff like that, and making him do something that he shouldn't have done, or whatever the case may be, got him in some mess that stuff's just gonna end up day to day. You're gonna run in an inconvenience here and there. If you move right, you can avoid the major problems.
Right. That's absolutely correct.
But Jorge, do you understand what I mean when I say like you yourself aren't in certain positions as others would be?
And I'll say, before Jorge answers that question, not to put words in his mouth, because basically he's saying that he doesn't run into those issues, but I would say, like he said, he goes through his checklist, right? So eventually you got to meet them. You got to meet the person for the first time, right? And as you go through that checklist, he just cuts it early, basically, is what happens. He doesn't let it grow into a problem. Is that right, Jorge?
Absolutely. Like For instance, I went to Puerto Plata. First thing somebody gonna say is about Puerto Plata is chica heaven, right? Mango heaven. Everywhere I went, I didn't see a mango in sight. I went to nice restaurants that I was able to sit down as a family. My mom didn't see ass and titties hanging out around. They wasn't like, hey, Poppy, come in. None of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody asking us for nothing. We went down to the beach, a restaurant at the beach. Same thing. We stayed in a villa. I didn't stay on the main strip. Why? Because I know what's going to happen. I don't put myself in them type of situations. Like Javier said,
Correct.
It's yes, you're going to run. You can never expect that things are going to be as efficient as the States. Like, I'm never going to sit here and say that. But I'm saving $2,500 a month. I don't care about a small inconvenience being here that's going to just give me like, okay, you said you was going to be here at 5, you got here at 6. I don't care about that when I'm saving $2,500 a month and I'm having more fun and I have a better quality of life. Like, you see my stuff personally, like, I'm always out. I'm just not out doing what most people my age are doing out here, chasing down women. Like, women is like maybe like number 6 on my list. I don't care about, can I say, I don't care about chocha that much. Like, it's not my top 1, 2, 3, maybe down to 6. So I can name like 5 things that I enjoy doing out here that has nothing to do with women. But if your number one thing is, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, yo, you're putting yourself in a bad,
absolutely correct,
bad state of a bad place.
Absolutely
like
correct.
Dre, I've heard you say it. Money, just whoever you was in the States, you're gonna be that person in Brazil, in
No doubt.
Colombia, in Mexico, in DR, and it's gonna be worse because we all know that money amplifies who you are. So when you move to a Mexico, when you move to a DR, your net worth multiplies for most people. So now, if you was just running crazy in the States doing wild stuff, you're gonna be able to do that times 10 here. What is that gonna do to your experience?
And even more, Jorge, and not to cut you off, Chapapa, but even more, Jorge, you yourself, who you are, is exposed because now you have the opportunity to go to a higher level of economic expectations. In other words, in New York, you may not have been able to go to that 5-star restaurant. You may be able to go to a regular restaurant, but now you take those same dollars and you can afford to go to that New Yorkish restaurant in certain areas of DR, and yet and still, why is it that you still gravitate to? You see where I'm going with this? You still with the opportunity now, so you can't blame it on economics. Like, well, in New York, it was so expensive to go to that best restaurant. It was $500 a plate just to walk through the door. You don't have that excuse anymore now. You in DR, and yet and still here in Colombia and in DR, dudes still come with a bottom feeder mindset, even though your pockets tell you you deserve better. Your pockets tell you, I'm going to take you to a level that I'm taking you to restaurants and introduce you to women on a whole different scale that you couldn't get to in New York or you couldn't get to in certain areas of Atlanta. And yet dudes still will come down here with the opportunity to advance, but with the bottom feeder mindset. So when certain things happen to you while you bottom feeder, you got dudes like me and Jorge, hey, we can't relate. We sit back watching y'all with popcorn. We telling y'all it's not that we better than, but we realize that our money takes us better than. And so since we already had a better than expectation mindset in the States, it's easy for when we come over here. When I went to DR, I was meeting people that own mansions. I'm at a private beach with all white sand while everybody else going to them beat up beaches. Why? Because I gravitate to that. I gravitated to the best in my city, in my state, and guess what happens to me when I go to another location? But if you're a bottom feeder mindset dude, if all you ever did was bottom feeder chicks, let's be real, and you never knew what quality life was, no matter how much you could go to and I know I sound like I'm babbling, guys, but you can actually come to Colombia where a breakfast is $1. And you can get you the greatest breakfast for $5. And some of you dudes will still go down and complain about that $1 breakfast. Then if you would have just put an extra $4 in, you would have had the best chef in the city, the best this, the best that, but you still hang out with in bottom feeder mentality mindsets, bottom feeder situations where dudes complain about their lawyers. Ain't no, and I talk about you, Chuck, because I don't know your situation. But if it were me, with the cost of dollars that I have, man, I had their version of a Johnny Cochran in there. There is no way in the world I'm gonna sit up here and cut costs, and I know my costs were already cut when I got off the plane.
When you got
There's
off
no
the
way
plane.
in the world.
Chopper, you a food guy. Hold on one second. Let me just say this real quick, because you a food guy. You go to nice ass restaurants. Dre, I know you be going to nice restaurants. And Chopper,
Yeah.
you know I be going to nice. Man, so I took my mother yesterday to this nice ass restaurant down in Boca Chica. It's called Neptune. And just to touch what you just finished saying, you go to any one of Santiago, Puerto Plata, La Capital, Santo Domingo, and what do you see American people do? It'll be a place like yesterday. We was at Neptune, nice restaurant, really real nice restaurant. Where the dudes go? They bottom feeders, like Dre say. They go get them a chick that's nice and cheap, bring her to one of these restaurants. You can tell from a mile away. Why? Asshole hanging out, titties all over the place, fake hair all over the place, nails all crazy. Like, what are you doing bringing that to that? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then when you get on the plane, you think that she ain't gonna be doing something else. Like, yo, you went to go pick up something that didn't belong around you in your circle. You're gonna have a certain kind of experience.
So the comments are a little bit on fire right now. I see a notarial emblem going off, so I'm gonna put up his comments and I'll let you guys address that as you see fit. But this is how it is for me, right here.
You know, we can't see your handwriting.
Yeah, how the hell we gonna see it?
We're gonna see a piece of paper with a circle.
So you got one circle that got the bad, the good, and in between you got the
all. You got a Venn diagram. I see what you got.
Right.
Venn diagram.
The all, and the all part should be times 10, because wherever you go, experience something. Wherever you go, you're gonna find the good mixed with the bad. So can you call it all good? No, you can't. Can you call it all bad? No. But it's the all. It's the all where it's like, all right, it starts off good, but ends up bad. Clock it off as bad. Or you go to the bad goes to worse. If you guys are tracking what I'm saying. But everybody, I'm gonna drop Jorge's link again. Listen, the brother drops great knowledge, especially for you guys looking to come down here to the Dominican Republic. Please subscribe to his channel. It only takes not even 5 seconds. Click that link I just dropped down in the comments. Go subscribe to his channel. Now let's get to Emblem's comments. Dre, Jorge, Javier, Truth, however you guys want to answer this. Javier, Emblem says, don't be a martyr for them. That's what their country is so stable. To be honest, I wouldn't even include them with the rest of the block. The game is over. But he also goes on to say, none of that means your life is better. I guess he's addressing the Jorge and Dre dialogue. How could you measure your life in money? I believe it's all culture. This guy is exasperating. Allow someone else to talk. I am bored. So who wants the football first?
Oh, I like what he said in regards to life isn't about money. It's not about money. It's what you can do with the money. I'll repeat that. It's not about the money. Money can sit in the bank. Money is just digits on a computer. That's all money is. Anybody that knows what money is and has had any money with that comment will automatically know money is not real. It's actually a byproduct of all your hard work. And now what you do with that, whether you're buying furniture, with your, like in Jorge's case, taking care of mom, is a byproduct. What I do with my monies, I look for a quality of life that I deserve at this stage of life. I repeat that. I look for the quality of life that I truly deserve at this stage of life. Now, if you believe that you only deserve bottom feeder life at this stage of life, nothing wrong with that, brother. Clip your coupons while you in DR. Go ahead and go for the 2-for-1s in DR. Do what you're gonna do. If all you drink is Presidente and you never went to a winery in DR, brother, I got you. I'm the winery dude. As soon as I got off the plane and I saw women driving Porsche trucks, me and Andrea pointing, let's go to where those Porsche trucks going to. We ain't going to the ratchetness. I don't hang out with, I didn't do that in the States. I don't know why guys complain about the lower level of life and yet watch dudes like Jorge, watch dudes like me try to introduce you, dude. Your $5 can take you up here now, dog. Your $55, your $100 can take you up here. You can meet women up here, and dudes steady with the same economics that me and Jorge and I have will still once again slide down to the pits of whatever the swamps, and then complain about being in the swamps.
Dre, sometimes, Dre, not for nothing, sometimes their economics are better than ours. But they number one, they don't know their worth. You don't understand.
That's right.
First of all, we have to understand the difference of being a man and being a male. A man understands who he is. That's number one. You understand who you are and where you're trying to get to. So anybody that's not pushing you to the direction that you're trying to get to shouldn't be in your circle. If you mad because somebody say that, you're crazy. Trust me, I've done it both ways. I was young, dumb, running the streets of DR, right? Fell in love or fell for all the wrong reasons, even though I seen all the red flags. But part of being a man is accepting accountability. So I have to say, George, you got to take that on the chin. You messed up. You missed the red flags. But this is when I was early 20s, first going to Sosua, Puerto Plata, and that type of stuff. Now that I'm almost 40, you think I had the same damn mentality that I had when I was 20? I got to be a damn fool. I got to be a damn fool to have the same mentality. Some people, Dre, have more money. And they still fall for the same dumb shit is what I don't understand.
In the travel group, I want you guys to hold your thoughts for a second, guys. I won't be long. In a travel group that I'm in, and it's full of guys, many of us are over 50 years old, right? One guy put a comment, and another guy, a few other guys backed up this comment. He said, well, and they're all in DR, all these old ex-veterans and got the pensions and ex-businessmen and all this. They got paper. And the first thing they said, well, you know, all the young women, all they want is money from a dude. And I'm thinking to myself, I met my wife at 22. It took her a year to even ask me for 20 cents because she already had money. She came
the
from
wrong
a family
mentality.
that already owned their own property and owned this and that. And so when I hear older dudes that have been my point is that have been bottom feeders so long, they think that it's hopeless in DR to meet quality women. And I'm telling you, soon as I get off the plane, my brain, maybe it's just Andre's brain, it's gravitating. I'm looking at all these women that's coming out of this office building with a suit on. I'm looking at this. These females are not driving a man's trucks. I'm looking at the color of the truck, and I'm like, that's a female color. How in the world this woman driving a BMW, a female color BMW, if that's her man's truck? Obviously, that's her truck. So my mind gravitate to those women. You dudes will run to. I bet you this. I bet you let Andre walk into sewer if I was a single man. I bet you I would find a quality woman in the. Because you know why? Because y'all ignore all the quality women that doing something in DR and in Sosua, and you think that everybody is a bottom feeder in Sosua, and I let y'all run to all the bottom feeders, and I walk right over to that chick that owns this and owns that, and I'll say, well, what about this? What about that? And she'll say, let's go out. See, you see the difference? We both in Sosua. In the same scenario that y'all say ain't nothing but pros, ain't nothing but mangoes. But then a dude that has a mindset that don't see mangoes in everybody can see and expect like Jorge says, I expect quality from everybody. I got standards. And not that I'm arrogant or I got a big ego or bravado. What I'm saying is you get to a certain stage of life where you expect ain't no broke chick coming my way. I don't see how y'all do that. I kid you. You know how many dimes in Colombia I done kicked to the curve? You know why? Because I was already in the habit of kicking broke dimes to the curve if they weren't bringing them to the table in the States. To where you guys would clamor all over them. Andre, I don't see how you let her go. Man, she ain't quality like I thought she was. Y'all can have her. That's my trash. And that's the same thing I did in Colombia. Oh my God, you let y'all can have her. That's my trash. That's trash.
Let me give a quick shout out to first super chat tonight, Teddy, for the culture. I appreciate you, KGB, always into. Jorge, I know you was listening to what Dre was saying about the women down here in the BMWs. Is it that simple here with the cars and the women and if it speaks status about that woman? Is it that simple? And Javier, you could chime in on that also. But and Jay, I understand what you're saying, and I feel what you're seeing, what you saw down here for that moment, would work more in Colombia.
I don't think so, because like attracts like, and that's the only reason I say that. I have everywhere I gone in all my travels, I always attract quality work. I'm gonna give it to you even more. I don't even attract dudes that don't deal with quality women. As soon as you bring a broke looking chick around me, I don't mess with you no more. As soon as I see you with a bottom feeder, I'm gonna pull your coattail on it and say, dog, you can't bring that around me and my wife. My wife can't relate to no bottom feeder chicks. Don't be bringing none of that around me. I don't gravitate to them. They don't gravitate to me. And it's been like that my whole life. I don't gravitate to broke chicks. Dude, when I was broke in the hood, I didn't gravitate to broke chicks. I always gravitated to the chicks that was trying to be something, do something, accomplish something, even if they didn't live in my own neighborhood. I've always been that dude. And many of you guys, this is the part that my point in saying all this. Forget about me. You guys deserve, I'm married already. You guys deserve quality, just like Jorge is saying. You cannot blame the economics of that you couldn't afford that steakhouse because it was in New York or it was Bmore or LA or Chicago. I got you on that. But now that same dollars, if not more, that could get you the high quality chicks in those high quality areas. And I'm not saying that it's a vast amount, but it's enough for some of y'all to find one or two and sit your little happy tail down. But y'all don't want to do that because it's more abundant bottom feeder chicks in Colombia, in Brazil, in Venezuela, in Argentina. That's why dudes like it, because there's so much more variety of broke chicks than it is with quality chicks. Y'all be like, I get a quality chick in 10 years, but I'm gonna go ahead and get these broke chicks. But then y'all want to cry about it the whole time. Y'all getting drugged, y'all getting robbed, y'all getting used. She cheating on you when you get back on the plane. You chose that level. You wanted the abundance, so be it, brother. Have all the little broke chicks on the island you want.
But Dre,
keep playing when it comes back on you.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add the problem with the places you talking about, Dre, is I can't get my socks walked off in the bathroom.
Wow.
The year comes with the good and bad, and then I mean you gotta have low expectations.
Oh, yes, everywhere.
Plan for the worst.
Because
I mean, look, I mean, there are quality women here. I mean, they're in every town, they're in every place, but you got to look for them. You got to be willing to. You got to have a checklist, like Jorge. Okay,
yes, like
it's
Jorge.
common sense. You got to have common sense. You got to have a checklist. And I mean, if you're coming down for fun to have find a whore, you're gonna find it. It's very simple because what works here is money. So if you have money and you're just looking for a good time, hanky panky, that's what it's called in Boca Chica. I mean, you're gonna find it. But if you're looking for a serious woman, you got to put time. You got to have that checklist. And I mean, anything is possible, man. It just depends on what you really want and what you're looking for. And it's not even a bottom feeder mentality. I feel like it's just like you just have you don't have an alpha or not an alpha mindset. You just have your negative mindset. You're not really, you don't know, or you don't know what you want. So you're gonna. So if when you don't know what you want, you're gonna stumble in different situations. And I feel like those situations happen because you gotta figure it out, get out of it, or move forward. You know. So
Javier and Truth, thank you for both chiming in on that. And Dre, what I want to add to you is that it's simple when you say, all right, bottom feeders to the left, decent to the right. But when you put a bow tie or a dress on poop, it's still poop. And that's the thing down here. The poop could put on a bow tie and a dress, and that would be the distraction. Jorge tells me all the time, and I think this is where we can agree. That's why, Jorge, I wanted to ask you before, like, if you wanted to clear up the whole she's driving that, she's in like this thing down here. Jorge tells me all the time, it's gonna cost you. Right here, specifically in the Dominican Republic, don't matter if there's a job involved, no matter if there's kids, no kids, it's gonna cost you one way or another. And you have to be able to differentiate the levels of what type of cost is going to cost you. And this is why I'm so adamant about fellas paying attention to his channel, because he puts me onto game every time we're here. Like, I've changed my whole way of looking at things now just because I'm putting a price tag on it. Because I'm in the environment where you have to put a price tag on it. Chime in on that, Jorge.
I think actually, Jorge, real quick before you expound on that part, I think too where dudes run across into problems is, like you said, right? There might be bow tie on a poop. When you unwound that bow tie and you find that there's poop there, move on to the next one.
Exactly. It's that easy. It is that.
Why you sitting up there with the poop complaining?
When I say it's gonna cost you, right?
Like I said last time, dudes want to bat 1,000, ain't never first time off the plane, and they want to pick up, the most perfectest, diamondest woman out there. You gotta same anywhere you at in the States, over there, Colombia, anywhere. You gotta look for them. You gotta vet them out, and like True said the other time, get your reps in, get your swings,
you gotta get your reps,
get your at bats in. Whatever analogy you want to use is the same thing. High school here in the States or adulthood here in the States, same thing. When you was trying to find your ride or die, it wasn't that first one that you hooked on to, I'm pretty sure.
Nope.
Yeah, thank you, Javier. Continue, Jorge, on that.
That's exactly.
And also open up the game a little bit more, like how the game goes down here, specifically in that nature when it comes with the cost.
When I say it's going to cost you, when you move into a country that's a developing country, Colombia, Brazil, DR, any of these countries where the American US dollar is worth more than their national currency, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not moving. Why don't you ever hear a large expat life going to Paris, London, Dubai? Huh? Because the American dollar isn't that strong. So people don't like to hear the truth, but the truth is most of us migrate to these countries because we can get more bang for our buck. So if you automatically think, okay, damn, I can get more bang for my buck, you're not moving to them type of countries to say, oh, I'm going to find a woman to help me financially. So when I say it's going to cost you, I mean, yes, you can pay for a bottom feeder. And when I mean pay, I'm not talking about directly. I'm talking about indirectly or directly. You go grab a chick from Sasua. Now you pay all her bills. You put her in a nice apartment. You do this, do that. And guess what? Some of them jokers that do shit like that, she don't cook. She don't clean. She don't do nothing because she's still a bottom feeder. But or with that same money and that same help, you can get you a nurse, and guess what? Help her get an apartment, help her with her bills or whatever the case may be, and she might appreciate it. And guess what? When you come home, she's rubbing your back. When you come home, you getting your nails clipped. When you come home, the shower's running. When you come home, Chapapa, you know me, dog. I'm a drill sergeant. You see how my household is ran. That shit ain't by accident. To deal with me, you have to operate this. And I'm broke to most people. To most people, I'm broke. But guess what? It's not my money. It's my character. She knows that she's gonna leave better than when I found her. I guarantee Dre's the same way. His wife probably didn't help him financially at the beginning, but he's a man. He's not a male. She understood that which she has. She understood that some guys can't lead. So that's why the woman won't follow. She understood, like, okay, I got this, he checks this, he checks this. I'm gonna follow this guy. So guess what? She's gonna, the 3 S's, right? Sex, sandwich, silence. She's gonna give him that because she's willing to follow him. So yes, when I say you have to pay, right? That's cool. You're gonna pay one way or another. Any man that's been married in the States know that's the most expensive kind of relationship you could ever have for most people.
And if you're a quality man, you are at peace with the fact that it's gonna cost you. If I want my guys sit up there and be like, "Oh, Andre, your wife's so beautiful. Your wife is this, that, and that. She's so intellect." Dude, the MAC makeup costs for the makeup. Those purses that they cost when dudes see her in those beautiful dresses when she was in DR. I mean, they thought she was a princess. Because you don't see too many women in DR wearing beautiful dresses. So Andre just looked like a nice, beautiful. I pay the cost for that. But here's it's not just to pay the cost on the economics. I pay the cost as far as I know my woman want a fine man, so I got to get my butt to the gym every morning. I pay the cost for that. I know my woman want a man with a stable mentality that can meet people that don't have anything, as well as meet people that do have something. She want to make sure that I have that type of that mindset. The other way I pay the cost is socially, that I help the community, as well as she helps the community with the fundraisers and the food that we gave away all during the pandemic, and how we still give away food and money right now. I pay the cost because she's expecting a quality man. I'm expecting a quality woman. And there is nothing wrong with paying the cost. There is not a man that's of quality that's with a fine quality woman that has not paid the cost. Obama is paying for all that Michelle, the hairstyle, the looks, the this and that, because he knows that is going to help him in the long run. But a lot of dudes ain't willing to get a quality woman and pay the cost when it comes to that quality woman. It be at ease with that. If you are a real man, you got 2 things that you're supposed to be doing: provision and protection. We in the States have become weak and thought that if we do it, then you must be simping. It's not true. I'm a married man and I want my wife to be the finest. I want dudes to be like, man, she's smart, she funny, she fine. And let's say she didn't bring a thing to me for me financially. Andre in the last year has saved me because she does all the paperwork for my visa, all the paperwork. She makes sure that whenever I go to, Andre got a book of all my medical records, because every time it's time for me to go to the doctors, she's like, bam, bam, we got this, doc, we got that, I don't know all of Spanish like that to be going to a medical doctor and understand it. She's taking care of that. When it came to my driving, she was the one that got up in the morning at 8:30 in the morning and went with me all 3 weeks so I could get my driver's license to translate everything if I didn't understand it. Okay. She saved me over $15,000 in the last year alone. And even when we leased this apartment, she was the one that read over the lease, and there was one word in there that would have cost me some money. And she told the lady, take that word out, or we won't lease this apartment. The lady took it out, and I was able to save money. So just because your woman doesn't bring you tangible money, she brings you other benefits. But when you running with bottom feeders, you'll never run across the type of women that can bring you that type of thing, those intangible things. So my point, going back to what you were saying, I'm like, Jorge, I have no problem with paying the cost, because I don't know one quality man in the States that have not had to pay the cost in one way or another to make sure that he has a quality family behind his back.
You pay for it one way or another.
Gentlemen, hold on 1 second.
Wait, hold on. I need to get to these. I need to get to these comments, because comments are blowing up right now. Dre, I'm seeing some questions, statements directed at you. Jorge, True, Javier, getting ready to finish. But first off, I need to get back on track. Shout out to Solo DMV. That's why we're here.
Shout out Solo.
Chat. He says, we've established the downside. What's the silver lining, fellas?
Right.
Sell DR or Colombia to someone watching and considering these countries. And
there's a lot of opportunity.
And
A lot of opportunity.
Absolutely correct.
and that's the base. There's a lot of this opportunity in both. But like we said, gentlemen, I brought you guys here. There's the sunshine and rainbows on YouTube, but nobody's ever going to talk about the L's. Nobody loves to share their losses or their trials and errors or just lessons like, hey, listen, I went through this. I don't want you to go through it.
Right.
Example, Jorge put me on to a mechanic. I went to go pick my car up yesterday. It was making some weird noise, has a problem with the others. My time in the DR, I've only had to go to the mechanic twice. When I first bought the car, I was like, you know what? It was probably like a month, 2 months later after I bought the car. I brought it back to the dealership. I was like, hey, listen, I brought it to Nissan. Nissan gave me this, and I just got the car 2 months off the lot from you guys. What can you do? Dude hit me with the only 1 month guarantee, warranty, whatever. Then he said, I'll give it to my mechanic. We'll fix it. We'll pay it. We'll bill you ourselves, this and that. So I leave my car at the dealership that I bought it and haven't gone back to the mechanic since then until yesterday. Went to Jorge's guy. Mm-hmm. And this is me sharing my trial and error, my L for you guys, because I don't give a damn. Because end of the day, I still am blessed to wake up, be happy on an island, whatever. And like I said, you can't change the situation, change where you are. Jorge's mechanic told me yesterday, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. He said that the last person to work on the car stole my catalytic converter. Pulled me to the side. He was like, did you get any work done on this car? I was like, yeah, I brought it back to the same dealer I bought it from. He was like, yeah, because you know your catalytic converter is missing, and that's very, very frequent down here because it sells for a lot. So they steal it off cars and they resell it.
Yeah, I was just about to say that is the latest thing going on over there. Our dudes doing that. You even got people, some Uber drivers who don't have their own car, and you know, it's big over there for people to rent out their personal cars to people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so then you got some dudes who rent a car from somebody so that they can, you know, quote unquote, be an Uber driver, and before you know it, they're selling the cat and you know, giving the car back with the thing. So, but again, we're talking about a specific type of person who's doing that.
Right, and shout out to Jorge for the mechanic. Mechanic work was cheap, real cheap. Did not expect the bill to come out like that. Only came up to 2,500 pesos.
Did he gring you? Did he hit you with any gringo prices?
No, he did not.
Who was
That's fair.
His 2 kids work there. His wife runs the office. He has 3 Haitian mechanics. His kids work under the Haitian mechanics because they're just now perfecting their craft. Both of his kids speak English. I'm just saying.
Right. And I went straight, you know why? Because it was a put on for my brother. He's like, listen, I got his mechanic. You won't go through the ins and outs, the gringo prices. I'm like, let's go. But listen to that experience I had, y'all. Went to a dealer, bought a car, went back to that same dealer. Same dealer robbed me of a piece. Solo DMV asks, we established the downside. What's the silver line? What are we selling? I'm saying I won't come on live on YouTube and sell you the Dominican Republic is the end game. No, based off my experiences. I'm not here bashing. I'm literally just turning on the camera and I'm talking about my day. So once again, if nobody likes what I have to say, make like a quarterback and take a hype when I start snapping, because I'm not going to hold back the truth for somebody else that could affect somebody else's decisions.
Right.
Whether their end game would be Colombia, Brazil, or Thailand over DR. I'm going to speak about the good, and there's plenty of good on this channel, but I'm going to take my time out to talk about my bad that I've come across. So, I want to come back to this question now because for Javier and Truth, I know Truth is ready to sell the DR, but Dre, think about this question. You want to come back later, drop some notes. Jorge, also, let's get down to these comments because I know you guys are talking. I'm going to see everybody. Emblem, Dre, take some time to address Emblem. A lot of comments. He's talking to you. Run through this. Life in Haiti with Marie.
Hey, Marie.
How you doing? Queen of the super chat, Miss Felicia is here. How you guys
Live
doing?
stream queen, Felicia.
Let's see.
Yo,
Flavor,
this dude emblem. Well,
Jay, what's good? What's good? Jay says perhaps your ideal woman is uninterested because she doesn't need to date someone who doesn't speak the language, nor does she dwell in places speaking about non-speaking man. Let me know who you're addressing that to. Blame it on my boogie. Teddy KGB for the super chat. Like KS says, vet with your eyes closed.
yes, that right there, will take you a long way. A long way.
Okay, let's see. Douglas says, I think one will know if there's a catalytic converter missing. Hey, listen. I think I did a video where I said most of the cars down here are, and Jorge said it plenty of times. Most of the cars down here, if the car isn't made in the Dominican Republic, is salvaged or lemon. I myself did not know my catalytic converter was missing. The mechanic didn't know. He was like, "Why is the check engine light on? Everything checked out under the hood." Wasn't until he lifted the car up, he's like, bingo. That's the problem. You will come down here, drive my car, Douglas, and you would think that no converter was missing. People getting killed and killing for Cali converters in the USA. Hey, just sharing what happened.
I was about to say that dude doing that in the States. I was watching some news headlines about that. Yeah.
I'm just sharing my experience to the level of like you go to a place, you bring your business, and look what happens. So I'm not gonna sell, hey, come down to the Dominican Republic, buy a car. Buying process is easy. Hell no, you would never hear me say that. So I don't know if Javier Truth had anything to add on to that about what I've said before.
I'm in the process of trying to get a car. But I, like I said, all the cars I've been looking at, they're salvage. I always check the Carfax, check the co-parts if there's pictures. And when you go to any dealer, you definitely need to pay a mechanic to go with you to check everything out. And it's worth paying the 2,000 pesos to bring that person with you to check everything out if you trust them, because all these dealers, again, they're just trying to make money. And if they see a sucker, they're gonna take advantage. And it's just the good with the bad. It's the good with the bad. You gotta take it for what it is. But Dominican Republic is still a paradise. You still have the resorts. You still have different beaches, Punta Cana. I mean, you still have the women, the food. I mean, and your money goes a long way here. It's the reason why I'm here. It's because I got the job. I can work remote, and my money goes a long way here. I invested in an apartment in La Romana. There's kind of a delay in the process. The banks, like I could spend money to get my apartment quicker, but I'm not I've already spent enough money to put a down payment and stuff like that. So I'm waiting for the banks to, do what they got to do, and they're the ones holding up the process. And it just you have to learn to deal with inconvenience, and like just being here for the past year, I've learned patience. I've learned how to understand people. I've learned how to judge character, and just building my armor and just learning as I go, and just take it one day at a time. And I mean, the bad things, I've had a lot of bad things happen to me, but at the same time, I don't let it like sting on me forever. And it's a learning experience, man. Take it as a learning experience, take it on the chin and move forward. That's what a real man does.
Absolutely correct.
So Truth is on the soul button right here for the Dominican Republic for who asked that question. I think it was Solo DMV asked that question. What are we selling? Silver lining. Javier, what is your take? Are you selling or are you keeping a hand down on the auction? Dominican Republic.
No, we're buying. We're buying. Because same thing, like I was saying before, and I mentioned it the other day on the live that the hood over there is the same hood that's over here, and in this particular situation you're talking about, the same used car salesman in the U.S., the buy here, pay here, things that people should avoid at all costs, they exist over there too. So, you gotta
Facts.
avoid those things.
Absolutely.
And you're gonna get got. That's a part of life. Just like you got in the U.S. or wherever you are, eventually if you live long enough, you're gonna take an L, right? And it's great, like Chapapa, like you do. You're sharing your L's so that people don't make those same mistakes. But same thing, you're still there, even though you might make other moves or whatever the case may be. You've definitely enjoyed it. The goods, and you took the L's that came along with it. And hopefully, people are taking notes and watching like your videos and Russ's videos and Dre if they're moving to Colombia or wherever it is, and even Jorge, and picking up all the notes on how you need to move. But like I said last time, people are like they forgot everything that they saw, everything that they learned. So like you said, you giving them the answers or for the test. Is up to them to take the notes. That's definitely the thing there. And like I mentioned before, there's a lot of inconveniences that go along with it. There's a lot of headaches that Dominicans themselves go across with their families. Like, not to pull his business out of there, but just because I heard him say it, that his mom's family isn't in Santiago, and that's the reason why they're living in Santiago, right? So I'll let him, give his reasons for that. But me, I can suspect why that is the case, because I had those headaches as well. Not so much with my family, because my family's been kind of moving a little bit different for pretty a couple generations now. Trying to bring everybody up with them, but like my wife's family has been a headache and stuff too. But like I said, I kind of pulled a diamond out of the rough and scooped her out young, and kind of been helping her let go of the same things that she was brought up around, and those mentalities. Like, to go on what you like, or not like to talk about, but obviously you kind of experienced that, and you were sharing that Chop, that about the entitlement and all of that. And like you said, it's not all rainbows, and that entitlement can be real with who you run into, right? And like I said before, that's not just a foreigner problem, the family too. Once you hit that plane and you leave that island, you best believe the family is expecting you to maintain them, help them out with everything. And then the problem is that they're not really taking advantage. One day they might appreciate it, they might not appreciate it, and they feel that obligation where they have to help them, because if they don't help them, then there's going to be a problem, or they're going to talk about it, or whatever the case may be. But again, they're not taking advantage of the opportunity you're giving them. And yeah, that too, about how you mentioned about tugging on the heartstrings, that exists too. And the way they is la pena, they try to make they fill you up with la pena of like, oh, oh man, we're this or that, we're having this problem or this or that, or et cetera, et cetera.
Can I
And like
comment on that?
yeah, go ahead.
Like I said, I mean, I felt everything you're talking about. I felt that before. I used to want to help, but then you know what I learned, guys? I learned to say no, and I mean not to face. I said to myself, to my wallet, because I've busted my ass to make all the money that I'm making. I didn't work hard to support these people. I didn't work hard to support your lifestyle. I didn't work hard this and that. A lot of these people, you just gotta tell them straight up no, and you see who's there, who's really there. It's called tough love, and I tell people all the time. I'm not here to support you. I'm here to. I mean, if you're with me, we're gonna have a good time. Don't worry about the money, but I'm not here to support you. I'm not here to feed. I'm not here to feed your family, because I got things to do. And it's just saying no. You just gotta say no and keep it moving. I mean, I'm not trying to be cold hearted here, but
yeah.
You work hard for your stuff.
That's exactly the way it's got to be, and that's basically the way I've had to help my wife let go of that mentality, because of that's what she knew, that's what she was brought up around. And not that she was necessarily taken advantage of, she just her trying to do the right thing, right? Hispanic culture, Latin culture, especially in the DR, we're very familial, right? It's all about your family, right? true family, not the play family that they have in the States, like true family, right? So, and like Dre said about being a man and all that stuff, just like Jorge's doing with his mom. He's the one that stepped up in his family, made the move, did what he got to do to take care of his mom. Over there, a lot of people are about their family, but then the problem is a lot of people don't want to, put in the work, right? They prefer, so then when people do receive opportunities to leave the country or whatever, or do something a little bit better, even the people there, if you run across somebody who, ends up being a professional, if they're the first ones in their family, you best believe they got people tugging on their coattails all the time, all the
And,
time.
and Javier, thank you. This is one reason I wanted you on the channel, because you have your own way of giving the answers to the test, but you have a unique experience also. But I have to take my hat off to you. You literally said you found your diamond in the rough, but you basically had to wash them from the culture. And Dre has mentioned this before. When he met his wife, he looked at moms, pops, all the way up to grandma, how they were. But you literally came in and you ran through all that. You took somebody and you basically washed them off the culture that you
Look,
knew.
no joke. When we got married, right? So, obviously we had to go through the visa process or whatever. So that was the when I was basically living pretty much part-time over there in Santiago. So my family and stuff were all from Santiago. So I know Santiago from the bottom up ever since a kid, and los ranchos and los campos alrededor, right? So, but when I was there, when I got married, obviously we had to go through the visa paperwork, so whatever, blah, blah, blah. So once we moved, I moved there to an apartment there, and obviously the apartment had to be on point. Couldn't be close to the hood like where she, like where she used to live, right? Because at that time I had another business I was doing, and I needed internet access. I needed good internet access. There's areas where you can find good infrastructure, right? I needed, you know, more electricity, more than just 4 hours a day, right? But like Dre said, over there too, it's all about classism, right? So you move to the right neighborhood, yeah, you're gonna pay a little bit more, but it's still nothing compared to the States. I wish I was living in the apartment I had way back in when I'm talking about in '07, and pay the cost I was paying back then. But in
Mhm.
either case, right, when we got married, probably like a month later, like one of her sisters was talking about, oh, um, see if you can loan us 60,000 pesos, because there's this house that would be perfect for us, and blah blah blah, and all of that, or whatever. And so this is 2007, right? Early 2007. The peso then was like between 35 and 38, fluctuating, right? So, you do the math on that. We're talking what, 35,000 pesos is a grand. So
Mhm.
we're talking about me coming up uh, a little bit under 2 grand to do that. I mean, sure, I guess that, relatively speaking, that's not that big of a deal for me compared to them, obviously. But I didn't do it, obviously. But I'm just putting out there. Sometimes they think that it's like, oh, bum, you hit the lottery. You're married with, even though I'm Dominican, but I was Dominican in the States, right? So, they think that. So there was that situation, or after that, it was like, oh, um, like her mom saying, oh no, well, maybe you should help this cousin out, have them clean the apartment or whatever, so that you can help them out, whatever. And my wife was like, no, I'm not gonna, because one, I can clean, because her mom was living with us there in the apartment too. So it's like, we're enough people here to clean. There's not that big of a deal, and I'm not gonna have nobody. And the part where she was the diamond in the rough, and the reason why, because you might say, oh, there was like some red flags you ran through there, Javier, which which there definitely was. But again, I guess I had the leg up, being Dominican, being able to speak it, no problem, whatever, and see people for who they are.
Right.
I could see that she wasn't, all the way brainwashed. Like, let's say, like her family she didn't move exactly like the rest of her family, right? So that's why I went ahead and I took the shot, and and went through whatever I went through at that time, but and help her escape from that mentality and all that negative stuff. But those are just part of the stuff that I got out there, like. And of course, things would be different when I would leave. They'll be there on top of her, trying to put that pressure on her, put that guilt on her, and that type of stuff exists, right? But you just gotta push through that and push past it. And depending on each person's situation, like either you might have the patience or you might have the time, depending what stage of life you're in at that point, to put in that work. But I saw pretty quickly, who I can trust, who I can do this, who will do that. Now, and none of them ever do anything shiesty to me straightforward, like straight up, cross me. But they've definitely have used like that guilt on her and stuff of like, oh, and that's one of the things too. It ends up never being enough, no matter how. That's why, like True said, sometimes you gotta put your foot down, because they'll bleed you. If you let them, they'll bleed you.
Yep.
Because it'll never be enough, no matter how. And another example, cause it's funny because I was just talking earlier when I was walking with my wife. We were walking the dog and stuff, and I was telling her about the life another night, and we were reminiscing on some of those things. And it was like, when we would go out, when I was over there before she came, if we would go, like, we would be just out and about doing whatever. So it's already like 8, 9 p.m. And you already know what time people eat dinner over there in DR, right? And they don't play about their food. If they got it, they're going to eat it on point, on time, every time, right?
Jorge can attest to that.
So you can imagine, in my apartment, of course, the pantry, fridge, everything stacked full, because I don't want my wife to go through anything, and plus I was there, so everything was on point. So of course we know 100% that they already ate dinner, right? They already had their plátanos, whatever it is that they had that night, and we were out in the streets. So before we come home, we go to the taxi and we stop through the McDonald's. So of course I got my meal, I got her meal, but then it's like, oh, pero vamos a llevarle algo a mami y los muchachos, esto, lo otro. And I'm like, why? Like, it's already like 9, 10 o'clock. I'm pretty sure they already ate. Why do we have to buy stuff for them or whatever?
It's a bad custom here.
So she was like,
oh, you always gotta bring everybody else.
Yep. So, of course I bought it, whatever, because whatever, it's McDonald's, no big deal off my back. And not, understanding the full context at that very moment. But, obviously now reminiscing on it, and even later on, way before now, I, explaining the stuff to her, and her realizing, like, that how she went through those things now. Like, she obviously realizes, how dumb that was back then or whatever. But what happened is, it's the same thing. I didn't find out till later, where, when I would leave to go back to Miami for my few weeks or whatever before I came back, she would say, oh, they were on top of me, oh, you don't know how to act when your husband's around, you forget, you don't know nobody when your husband's around, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff, or whatever. So
So
you know what I do, man?
Hold on, Truth. Hold on. Dre, I see you licking your chops over there. I know you want to get into it, but I want to save Colombia for last, since you're a whole different country.
Okay, go ahead.
Entirely. Jorge, So, all right, so Javier sold DR to you guys, but one thing he spoke about that you cannot avoid unless you do what he did, cover your ears, is family. And Dre dropped some notes on this channel, his channel. Always look at the family if you're gonna take somebody serious. Or hey, let me hear your piece, brother. I know you're gonna sell DR, but what is one thing you would say buyer beware about? So
I
you're
mean,
selling and you're saying buyer beware.
me and Dre already spoke about who you are in the States is going to be who you are here amplified.
True.
Yo, are you a man or are you a male? You know what I'm saying? If you're coming to a country like this, you're paying all the damn bills. You're taking somebody from a bad situation into a good situation. You just finished saying, but yeah, that happens, but you can wrap a bow on shit. Well, guess like Dre said, once you find out his shit, move to the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like when I say you're going to pay for it anyway, let's be clear what I'm saying. You're going to pay for it. Jorge is going to pay for it anyway, but you best believe she's going to add value to Jorge's life. She's going to add everything else minus the finance. I don't need her to add the finances. And she's going to save me money. It's non-negotiable. Non-negotiable. Like you see how I operate my crib. You know what I'm saying? I live a stress-free life. And to most people, I promise you I'm broke. I promise you. I'm here on live TV telling you I'm broke. So if you're making more money than me, you should, like Dre said, have a higher quality of life. But the problem is you get off the plane and the first thing you looking for is cheeks. Like that's crazy. You have a chick in your house that you're paying everything for, like my mom and the older people would say, solo para planchar sábana. That means you have her in the house just to iron sheets with her back, nothing else. No cooking,
Ooh.
no cleaning,
Ooh.
no paper,
Ooh.
no nothing. That to me is fucking crazy. To me, it's crazy. So if you have somebody like that, you're gonna have certain issues. You're gonna have family hitting you up. Yo, I have never. I've been here for how long? I've been here? Like probably like 18 months. I have never ever had a family member of hers ask me for shit. Never. 18 months. Not no, ask Jorge, can he do this? I have never ever had one of her family members pop up at my house unannounced. I don't run my household like that. Like, I'm run my household like my uncle used to run his household, old school. And it's not that I'm a dictator, it's that I understand I'm doing certain things for you. So you have to do certain things for me. It's not like, you have to do what I'm telling you to do. No, but it makes sense to do what I'm telling you to do. And especially if we're operating with my money, then we're gonna do what the we're gonna run things my way. Now, if it don't affect Jorge, hey, do whatever the hell you want to do. But once it comes into my household and it affects me, nah, that ain't gonna work. So my thing is, if you're gonna come here, this is paradise. Check my Instagram out. Now that my content isn't that great because I don't understand. To be honest with y'all, I'm not tech savvy. I don't understand. Look, trust me, I don't even know how to save shit. Chopper, I be on Chopper's phone 24/7. I'm telling you, I'm like from Fred Flintstone age. But if you look at my Instagram, that's my life. I don't like try to that where you see me, I take my mother to places, nice places, here DR for pennies on a dollar. We was at a damn condo for $100 a night that has 2 Olympic-sized pool, private beaches, a restaurant. I didn't see no problems, right? Another thing, you are who you hang with, yo. A lot of people come here and they think cheap is going to be cheap. Yes, it can be cheap, but when you deal with cheap people, you have cheap problems. I don't have those type of problems because I don't deal with them type of people. For me, DR is love.
And Jorge, real quick, just so that people, because I don't want people to miss this, because I thought about it earlier when Dre was talking about it, how Dre was talking about in the places he moves and in the restaurants he goes and he pays X amount of this and X amount of that, and how he went to DR and he saw the Porsche trucks and stuff like that, and those are the people he wanted to follow. And I want people to pay close attention to what Dre talked about, true, and go watch Jorge's video and see the money that he spent and see exactly what Jorge was just talking
Right.
about, how he's living his life, his quality of life, but he's not spending buku bread like, you know,
Hell no.
it sounded like Dre, you know, was
Right.
alluding to. You could do that if you got it, sure, why not? But the whole point there is how at whatever level you're capable of moving at, make sure you make the right moves and take the right steps.
And
I would,
surround yourself with the right people, the right quality of people. Like,
Yeah.
yo, for instance, for me, if you're moving here just to find love, don't come. Don't come. That to me is crazy. Like, these countries have more to offer than just cheap entertainment. That's crazy. Like, you can get that shit in the States. But the problem is most people's money can't get them what they want in the States. So they come here or other countries thinking that, oh, it should be cheap. When they realize that that cheap thing come with a price and a problem,
Correct.
now everybody's a problem. Like, I don't have those type of problems because I don't deal with cheap people.
So let me do a quick shout out to the super chat right before Dre takes it for Colombia. Shout out to Rolling Rock for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Garmin says guilt tripping 101 is finest. I feel your pain, brother Javier. Definitely guilt trip out here. Like I said, and I didn't realize it till Jorge put me on to this saying. He said they don't tug at your heartstrings like Trooper said. They tug at your humanity.
Yep.
Your humanity. That man, you really gonna let me not have no water in the crib or no food, or I can't feed this or my girl. They tug at your humanity. And you gotta come down here like bulletproof. Earn Money says, I speak from experience. I'm married to a Dominican woman. Next time,
What's up, B?
next time, put me on the panel. Hey, if you
Yeah, you definitely want him on the panel.
if you want to hop in right now, I'll put him in. I'll put him in. No excuse.
Yeah.
ENT. I see you. Kyle Jones says, All-star lineup. Thank you for tuning in as always. Always. Drake, take the floor, Colombia. You're gonna sell Colombia to the viewers.
Okay, first of all, there is no such thing as Shangri-La. There is no Treasure Island. You're gonna end up like Pinocchio was on Treasure Island. You're gonna leave a jackass. You're gonna go in think you're a man, but you're a boy. You're gonna leave a jackass just like Pinocchio did. And so there is no Treasure Island. There is no Shangri-La. No place on this planet is perfect. All around the world is the same song, just like Digital Underground used to say. It's all around the world the exact same song. People are people. But the one thing that I can say in regards to Colombia, of course, is bigger, and then you have another 11 countries connected to it that gives you more options. So if you're like, you know what, I'm not feeling Colombia, let me go down to Brazil. I'm not feeling Brazil, let me go down to Peru or Bolivia or Argentina and get that European feel. I don't want to go to Europe, but I want to experience that European feel. So let me go ahead and go down to Argentina, which is like 98% Europe, how it's built and made, and the infrastructure and the foods. So that's the beauty of being in South America. You do have that diversity. However, at the same time, you still have to follow the principles that Truth, Javier, and Jorge just mentioned. And what it is that, and I was taking notes. Javier confirmed with a story what Truth said in a statement, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Truth said you have to be comfortable with saying no. Javier is a byproduct of a man that lived in DR, that is Dominican, that had enough sense to say no to enough attractive women to be able to get to the point where he met his yes. Because if he hadn't said no to all those other women, he could be complaining just like the rest of you dudes. But he was able to say, even though I live here and I know these people and this is my family. No, girl, you ain't the one. You ain't the one either. Oh, you fine, I smash you, but you ain't the one either. These men mastered the art of saying no to get to their yes. I did the same thing here in Colombia. That's my point in saying that. If you come to Colombia, I would recommend you master one art and one art only. The art of being able to say no. To say no to self, first of all, to say no to females that you know are not taking your life in the direction that you would want to go. There's nothing wrong with saying no to get to your yes. When it comes to business services that are not conducive to what you need to have taken care of, if that person can't change my tire in a timely fashion, I have no problem with saying no. I don't know what the problem is with that, but the brothers are absolutely correct. Like I said, one brother made the statement, but the other brother gave a story, and Javier confirmed it by saying, this is how I live my life, by expectations and standards. The other thing that was in regards to Colombia, I don't know why guys don't they analyze the female that they want, but they don't analyze the family. I'm gonna tell y'all something. My family's full of Jorges. My family here in Colombia got connections. My family down here got own everything. My family down here are quality people. They got standards. 90% of what dudes are talk about the begging family, me and Andre don't go through none of that. We you know why? Because I purposely married a family that have college graduates in it other than my wife. I purposely married a woman that had in her family members people that own property. Why? So if we want to buy a farm, well, she got 3 uncles that own farms. They could tell us how to buy a farm. If we want to buy an apartment, oh, well, she got 6 cousins that own an apartment. They can help us to make sure we don't get gringo with the apartment. Oh, well, let's go ahead and buy a house. Well, it's at least 5 house owners in her family that I see every weekend. So if anything happens to me, like when I got in a car accident, it was crazy. Never happened like this in the States. 6 or 7 of her family members showed up for a car accident. It wasn't like I was laid out or anything, but they wanted to make sure that nobody sat back and tried to get over on me because I wasn't there. Why? Because I married a family full of Jorges. People that I could connect with. When we bought the truck, we bought a brand new 2020 Equinox, right? We bought the truck based off of I'm a tall dude. I want to get a truck because I don't want to insure. I'm tired of getting these little mouse taxes. So based off of that, her brother is a college graduate mechanic that works for Chevy. He's one of the top mechanics. That's connections. That's a Jorge in my family. That's a connection. So when it was time for us to buy a truck, and I know I sound like I'm rambling, but my point is these people in this family all have a part of the puzzle, and it's not just my wife. See, if I did like a lot of dudes do, look for a good woman, okay, cool, I got you. But now you got to deal with sometimes what Javier's got to deal with, the begging ass broke family. I ain't got to worry about it. I ain't got to deal with that. Why? There's enough college graduates, property owners, everybody. I tell this, everybody in my wife's family is working, but the kids and grandma on both sides, on dad's side and mom's side. And so I purposely made sure I said no to a lot of hot chicks in Colombia, to where I was able to say yes to not only to a quality woman, but to a quality family. And Black people used to do that. Like I said before, in the South, it used to be like, who that boy people is? Who that boy people is? We know, what's his name? He one of them Johnsons? Oh, he can't come in our house no more. He one of them Johnsons from down the street. They family live next to the church. Oh, he can't come in here no more. It used to be who they people is, not who she is, who her people is, who his people is. And we've walked away from that because we're so busy looking at this fine woman in Colombia in Medellin and Cartagena, we fail to realize that sometimes to stop and say who her people is. And that's what I did. I didn't forget about where I came from, where my family came from. And the first thing I said, okay, Andrea, she fine, cool, who her people is. And so when I found out that mom and dad had been together, even in marriage, okay, over here is a family member. They've been married 21 years. Okay, they got 2 kids. We got a family, a couple over here that's been married for 7 years. Okay, we got another couple over here. How many divorces in this family? Okay, 1. Okay, out of all these hundreds of people I met, it's only 1 divorce. Okay, mom and dad been together for 30 years. Grandma was with 35 years with granddad. Okay, these people know marriages. I purposely married into a family full of Jorges, people with standards, people that have accomplished things and are still accomplishing things. If they borrow $20 from Andre, let them put in American dollars. If they borrow $20 from Andre, you better believe that $20 coming back to Andre within 2 days. That's an if. You dudes, some of you dudes that's in the chats and experience when it comes to coming to Colombia, you make the mistake and you get with the chick because she's so hot. You know you ain't gonna never see that 20 again. Never in life. They go after that 20, they're gonna ask for 200 because they're like, hey, why stop there?
They're like this year. They're like,
But the last thing that I want to say when it comes to Jorge is this: what makes Jorge and I a little different, and Javier and Ernest, who's in the chat, we have people that depend on us. See, you single brothers, y'all can F up with the main goals and the bottom feeders, and y'all can complain, but it's just you. If I F up, I got a responsibility in it I still got to need to take care of. If Jorge mess up and let the wrong chick in his house, his mama, same thing with Javier. We got responsibilities. We're responsibility mindset men. With our money, all of us are going to pay. Whether you with mom or whether you with the wife or whether you with the girlfriend, all men we know we got to pay if you're a real man because we know provision and protection. So at the end of the day, we ain't real men. We already come to the conclusion. That's how it is. We ain't gonna complain about it. My money is set up for provision for somebody in this world. No problem. But at the end of the day, we realize that our steps have to be calculated. And then the other thing that you mentioned, Chapapa, about the homebody, if you look at why multimillionaires have the houses that they have with the basketball court and the golf course and the movie theater because they're homebodies. The most successful people in the United States are homebodies. They ain't got no time to be ripping around out there. We need the movie theater where I can walk to it in my house. We need the tennis court where I can walk to it in my house, the gym in my house, because successful people, for the most part, have always been throughout history homebodies, from the Roman Empire to the Egyptian Empire. Pharaoh had everything he needed in his home. But at the end of the day, I digress, and I'm going to close this out. These men are perfect examples of how to do it, not only in DR, but that's how I said it tell it in Colombia. There is no Shangri-La. It's going to take, like Javier started off by saying, patience to acquire what you acquire. But my number one thing that I would say to any man or woman looking to come to Colombia and really get rooted is the people you network with will dictate the experience that you have. And if you network and hang out with bottom feeders, I promise you will dislike Medellin. If you hang out with quality people, Medellin will be one of the greatest places that you've ever experienced. Same thing with Cartagena, Bogota, here in Cali, San Andreas, Santa Marta. Same thing. Even the coffee region of Armenia, Manizales, Pareda, all that coffee region. If you hang out with quality people and you take the time out to be patient to get around them, I promise you, your experience will be different. And you will never be that. I sit back and I watch these dudes getting drugged and dragged and misused by women in Medellin. And my experience in Medellin was nothing like that. I met so many professionals. I was dealing with female politicians in Medellin. I was dealing with women that own this and own that. And I'm looking at, well, when you go to Medellin, they number pros. I'm like, what are y'all talking about? I ain't messing with them. I see the pros walking by. Even if I'm a GoPro, I'm a brothel dude. I need somebody that I know because the brothels are the only place in Colombia where they make sure that the women are tested several times throughout the month. The brothel is the only place that usually have some type of security there. The brothel was the only place where you can walk in and you get to choose, like you're choosing for a bunch of comic books. You can say, I want her, and her too. Come on, y'all. The brothel was the only place you ain't got to worry about arguing over the price because the price has already been set. You and the girl ain't even got to talk about price because the price has already been set. That's because quality men do that. That's why the Buddy Ranch, the brothel in Vegas, is the way that it is, because quality men go to that brothel. You ain't gonna see the quality men in Vegas all on the corners with these broke chicks.
On the
The
strip.
quality men want the less complications, and they know, back to what Jorge was saying, it's gonna cost us for quality, but we ain't got no problem with paying it. Only dudes that got problem in dealing with broke chicks, y'all crying about paying it, and I don't know why y'all come to this country that you can afford to at least halfway pay to get a better quality of life here in Colombia than the life that you have in the States, and yet you still take your butt out there to them hoods. I go back to what I was saying at the end of it. I mean, at the beginning of last week, and I say it to the day that I die. It all starts and it all ends with you.
Just a real quick side comment to add, like, because I was gonna make the joke of, are you talking about the brothels, Dre? And I was gonna say, well, you gonna blow dudes' budget. That's for them to go to the, that's gonna blow up their budget in one day. And then, as I was thinking about throwing that out there, that comment, I was thinking to myself in my head, because I thought about it earlier too, where I hear dudes. Because the funny thing is, like, all right, they don't want to go spend that kind of money that you're talking about, right? They want to go find whatever else. But then at the same time, I hear those same dudes talking about, oh, they went to DR for a week or maybe two, and they took 2 stacks, 3 stacks, 4 stacks. And whenever I hear that, I'm like, what? What did you go buy a house in DR? Like, what the hell did you do in DR for a week or two and blow $2,000-3,000 on?
Crazy.
In the places where they go.
Same thing here.
Man,
Same thing here.
man,
And then they want to call me, hey Dre, can I get 500 from you till I get back to the States? I'm gonna wire it to you.
Hell no.
Wait, where your money at, man? You was at 2,000 last week. Well, you know, Dre. No, I don't know. Tell me what happened to that 2,000 that you just had when you get off the plane when I picked you up at the airport and you disappeared on me because I was trying to show you some quality places, but you want to be around ratchet chicks. What happened to the 2,000? Well, her mama and then we decided to see. Dre, can I get the? And then come to find out that the dude went to 3-4 of us to ask for $500. And this ain't the only time that happens. Russell talk about that all the time. How dudes be hitting him up like, yeah, hey Russ, can I get 300 to get back on a plane somewhere, or another Airbnb?
Fellas,
You can have the money, but if you're not a quality person, you don't know how to walk in quality. Dudes don't want to admit it. They bottom feeder dudes.
It's like the episode of Family Guy when Quagmire walked into the strip club and he sat down and said, whoa, blowing the money, whoa, and then eventually he ran out. But right. I want to open up the comments to questions. So, and this is a very unique panel to all you guys viewing. For all of you guys who didn't catch it live, you watch after, I'm sorry. You just have to wait till the next one. But you have a very unique panel here. You have Truth, who's here in the Dominican Republic, young expat, been here about a year. You got Dre, married, living in Colombia, doing the damn thing, if I may add. You got Jorge, right here in Dominican Republic, showing you the difference between him and Truth, a little bit older, and taking care of somebody while having fun, while living the quality of life. And you have Javier, who's been here, took the route of where he stuck his hand through the fire, came out with gold, got burned with some lessons. And I'm glad Javier said tonight because the brother be dropping some heat, some knowledge in the comment that goes over a lot of people's heads. But if you want to come down here or you want to go to Colombia, you have literally the Jorge way of living, the Truth way of living, the Javier way of doing things, and you have Dre where you can take that and you can put it in wherever you're going. So we're going to open up to questions before we close out the live. Any questions you guys have? Intelligent questions, please do not waste these brothers' time. But like I said, you have Truth. Truth is doing it working remote, found his person online dating, young. You got Jorge living here, does things strictly by business, to receipts, to the T, taking care of his moms. Make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. I'll drop the link several times in the comments. I will be dropping it one more time for you guys to subscribe. Subscribe to Love Crossing Borders already if you have it. But listen, any avenue you want right now for the next 5 minutes, ask these brothers. For those of you who are looking to move out of the States within the next year, whatever it is, ask and you shall receive. But listen, don't ever say Chapapa and give me the answers to the test. Don't ever say you came on YouTube and you couldn't find the keys to success. You didn't know which way to go for the pursuit of happiness, because you have it all right here. The knowledge these gentlemen took out of their day to come and drop the time, the gems for you guys that are, they're doing it right now and they're perfecting it. And that's all I can say. I'm just here to put it all together. I am the maestro of this orchestra.
Hey, Chapapa, Douglas Anderson put a comment. He stated that, and which is not a bad comment, but I do want to address it. He says, I think that Andre and Chapapa have experienced close to the extremes of their residence countries, but in opposite ends. And he said, neither can be considered the normal experience. And I want to hear what the guys have to say after I make this really brief statement, because you're not going to be wordy. I want my experience to be abnormal. I don't want a normal experience. If I wanted normal, I stayed in the States. I had normal. I was making good money in the States. I'm living in Tampa. I'm living the beach life. I'm right there by St. P. I got hot. How I found out about Colombia, because all my my friends in Tampa are Colombian. There's a humongous Colombian population in Tampa. I go right down the road to I-4. It's a huge Puerto Rican and a Brazilian population in Orlando. So I didn't have to come to South America to enjoy all of this. My point is that I could have had normal. My purpose in being here in South America is to have an abnormal experience. No matter what country I go to, and I understand what you were saying about Douglas in regards to the extremes, and I understand. And I've had my days where I was like, everybody had good days and bad days. But as far as my overall with Colombia, it has been extremely, extremely abnormal. And I will be disappointed in myself if I came to another country after 3 years of preparing myself for it, and I had the normal life that I had in the United States. So my goal was abnormal. So when you say neither can be considered normal, that's my goal. And I'm glad that you noticed that, because it's not to be normal.
Exactly. Because
and I want to hear what you guys have to say about your experience in regards to that statement.
I'm gonna let them take over, because I ain't got much to say, but I love what you pointed out, Dre, about the North States, because we come down here and you don't come down here with failure in mind.
Right.
When you move, obviously you can have your growing pains, you're gonna have your trial and error runs, but at end of the day, like you and Jorge said, it comes down to who you are and what you're bringing. When you give the flight attendant your passport and you're on that plane and you got your stuff and you're not going back, who is coming down here to these countries and what are you looking for and how are you going about it? But panels, over to you guys.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah, from Douglas. Go ahead, Drew.
I mean, let me keep it real with you guys. Like, my life was just too easy where I was at. I lived in Delaware. I mean, lived with my family, lived in my family house, had my brothers, my mom and dad there. And I mean, it just, life was not really challenging, just working, remote. And like I said, the East Coast mindset, get things done very quickly, rat race. And man, I just got tired of that. I've been going to DR for like the last 5-6 years. And I knew DR getting out of my element would change me mentally, physically, and just make me a better man. And like I reaped the rewards from being here for over a year. I mean, there's a lot of inconvenience, and I'm going to be honest with you, I do get angry at something. I do get angry at family. I do get angry at the inconveniences that happen here. But you're in island life, man. You got the beach, you got the sun, you got good food, you got good people, you got the family values. Yesterday, I went to a campo, spent a lot of time with family and friends, it's just like I said, just a different lifestyle. If you want a different environment and you're not scared and you're ready to get your hands dirty, take a leap. But at the same time, you got to make sure your finances are covered. You got to make sure you're willing to do research, and you got to make those relationships. You can't be, like I said, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to have a good time, I recommend Punta Cana, man, the resorts, as well as Sosua, Boca Chica. But if you're looking for something more than that, you gotta get out of your comfort. You gotta get out of being comfortable. You gotta be okay with not being comfortable. Simple as that.
Javier, what do you have to say for this comment specifically right here? Like Trey said,
Specifically to address Douglas's comment on Dre and Chapapa being polar opposite of experience. That is incorrect. Chapapa's experience is not the polar opposite of Dre's experience. The polar opposite of Dre's experience is a hell of a lot worse than anything you've heard Chapapa talk about that he's gone through, any L's or anything that he's gone through. There in DR, it can be a lot worse. A lot worse. Chapapa hasn't gone through anything. I'll say he's a little bit dolorido with his situation that he had, and I feel him, because who want to go through that, especially you putting yourself out there, and you, like you said, looking for that peace and the 3 S's, and one day you wake up and the zombies next to you. Who want to go through that? Nobody. But
Right.
it can be a hell of a lot worse than what anything Chapapa has gone through there. Now, letting you know that the real polar opposite of Dre does exist in DR, but just like everything we talked about tonight, how you move, where you move, and all of that, you got to keep all that in mind. And all of that, I don't think I ended up saying it earlier today, but given all that you heard me say and all the little fire stuff that I had to deal with and stuff that's there now, I'm actually moving back to DR this summer. I'm not just going, I'm actually moving to DR. Not me by myself, me, my wife, our 14-year-old son, 14-year-old son, who is too cool to talk Spanish but understands somewhat, but he's going to make that transition, and my 2-month-old daughter. We're all packing
Congratulations.
up and moving back to DR. Why? Because same place. Because guess what? I'm at the same place where Jorge left. I'm in Maryland, and he was in PG. I'm in Montgomery. I'm in Rockville. What
Way
what
more
what
expensive.
what he's saving is what I'm paying in rent, and that's exactly why I'm going back over there for all the good stuff that you heard about DR, because it's all about you and how you move and where you move. Of course, just like in the States, like I said, right here where I'm at, where I just mentioned that it's a more expensive and da 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 da, but I can go down the street to this and around the corner to the 7-Eleven, and I might get hit over the head with a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna find that wherever you go. So you just gotta stay on top of it and do what you gotta do.
yeah, Javier, thank you for pointing that out, man. I think to go as far as to say one of the realest people and one of the realest subscribers I've had, man. The insight this brother Josh for you guys in the comments and these last 2 lives, you can't get that anywhere else.
Oh, let me add one real more thing real quick, because I thought about it that I was gonna say it. Given that we're gonna move, and how I talked about how I had to kind of bring my wife out of that mentality, when I scooped her up young and took her out of that, and now that we're going back, even she told me that we're gonna be like Larry when we move over there. And if you don't know what Larry I'm talking about Larry David. And for all you Curb Your Enthusiasm fans out there, and if you never saw it, watch it one day. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know, Larry will have you over his house and blah blah blah, key. But once you cross the line, is all right. Everybody out the house. Bye. Get out of here. Go. And that's exactly how it's gonna be.
Like
If
Martin.
if like Jorge say, like he don't have none of that in his household, same thing. We're not gonna have none of that, you know, at that point. Like I said, in the beginning, you know, I was a little bit more lenient and stuff, and kind of, but we're talking about 16 years ago, right? When
Right.
you know I was in my mid-20s, and you know she was, you know, in her late teens, so you know things are a whole of a lot different now. Where same thing now, where even like I said, aside from the whole guilt thing, same thing. People talk crap about her and her family, about how, oh, you know, she thinks she's better than us and blah 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 and all of this, or she doesn't help, or she doesn't do this or that or whatever. But she's learned now that, you know, all that is just BS, because no matter what you do, it's never going to be enough. And especially, just like anywhere else, it's all right to give somebody a hand, but if they're not willing to grab onto your hand and pull themselves up, you know, with their own force, then you gotta let them go. You gotta let them go.
I love that. Jorge, quickly answer this up so we can, because we got some questions for you guys.
All right. I believe that there's no such thing as a normal experience. No such thing. I believe it's an experience that you create. Each person creates their own experience. Example, Dre's mentioned several times on his thing how he was incarcerated. Now he's
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Colombia, chilling, making good money, enjoying life. Truth. He said the other day, I guess on your other live, this guy is young. He moved out here, separated from his family. He got two apartments. Two apartments. One, didn't he say one in Punta Cana and one in La Romana or something like that?
Yes.
He has two apartments. A young guy under 30 years old has two apartments that would generate him some type of income, or he can just live in a different country. Then you have myself, low income. My mom has dementia, and I'm taking care of her. So each of us, Chopper, you're single, you move, you know, you travel, you do this. That's the life you created. So everybody on the panel has created the life that they wanted and that they know they deserve. You can't do that as easily in the States. You can do that type, but here's the problem. Some people come and they don't even know. You ask them, where do you go to the dentist? Oh, dentist? I don't even know if I needed to go to the dentist. How you been living here 2, 3, 4 years and haven't been to the damn dentist? All you doing is chasing mangoes all day. Like, what are you doing? This young guy, 29 years old, been here for less than a year or so, or less than 2 years, has two apartments. And he says he has a job. So I don't think he comes from money or he's rich. I've heard him say several times he's been busting his ass, but I don't know about you. I don't know about y'all, but the number one thing people always ask me that, please don't ask me on my channel, the number one thing is, what about the chicas? What about, yo, I don't give a damn about no damn chicas. My main focus is my money. How can I create wealth for years to come? And moving to these countries automatically puts you in a position, even if you come from low income like myself, that you can create wealth. So no, there is no normal experience in my book. It's the experience that you create with your better judgment and damn common sense. You already 5 steps ahead because of you coming with US dollars. If you can't win a race 5 steps ahead, my man, there's nothing we can do. Nothing you can do. If you can't win a race already ahead, there's nothing you can do.
There you have it. Like I said, you guys
So
need to
true.
subscribe to Jorge's channel for more notes, more lives, more videos on how he lives with the dollar to the best of his ability here in the Dominican Republic. First super chat question before we finish up, gentlemen. He should come and ask question to y'all. would you give your girl a second chance if you call her cheating and promise you she wouldn't do it again?
Hell no.
We men, no.
The door's right there. Go. The door's for you.
But it depends. You know what? It depends on how much you've invested into that family, how much were you a cheater, and she, you know, because usually women react or respond off of what you do, and I mean this in two parts. Either you chose a cheater, or you were a cheater and she decided to become a cheater. I'll say that twice. Either you chose a cheater, or she cheated because you were cheating. That's usually how it works when it comes to women. So when it comes to the cheat game, it's very simplistic. So I always say this, for most of us men, nah. I'm Andre already know I ain't about to give no second chance. My wife is the same way with me. That's why I've already set my tail down somewhere, because my wife, like, I give you the world. As soon as I find out you've been out here with one of these little females and it's all in my face or in my family face, there is no part two. And we both like in agreement with that. But I can't answer that for what these other gentlemen might say. But as for me, no, I ain't giving no part two. But no, I'm not expecting my wife to give me a part two either.
Yeah, I don't understand how somebody would even think that. Me, honestly, like, you paying for everything, you're doing for everything, you're helping them and their family, and I don't know. I just leave that one alone.
Yeah, like Dre said, if I did nothing to warrant the cheating, then nah.
Right. Yeah.
And before we leave, let me give a little shout out to my people. Dudes get mad, right? Because they get beat at their own game, right? Not all of them, right? But all, you know, some of these chicks out here, they run this game on these dudes. They didn't learn it in the schoolhouse. How did they learn it? Same thing. Because what do dudes do when they go there? Trying to run game, or sell them a dream.
True.
Knowing they're going to get right back on that airplane and, you know, possibly forget their number or hold it down to the next time they want to come into town. So just like dudes is getting burned, girls over there are getting burned just as much. So what do you expect them to do next time? What do you expect them to act and maneuver? They trying to, you know, they're beating them at their own game, and dudes want to get mad. So obviously there's la macabras out there who, you know, are ill-willed and bad-hearted and, you know, going to move how they move. But, you know, even for those halfway decent that you might think are all right, you know, sometimes you can't get mad if they're trying to, like Truth says, you know, kick in a survival mode, because same thing. They're in survivor mood now, and I guess trying to, you know, get the next couple months rent out of you, because last dude that came over from wherever told him, you know, oh, go ahead, nah, drop out of school, I got you, da 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 da. And when their wife back in the States found out that they got something over there, that was the last time that girl ever heard of them, or that dude. So, you know, just a little plug out there for some of my peoples out there.
That's great notes. Next question. We know what are the pros and cons of marrying stateside, but why get married overseas? Thanks, fellas.
Can I comment real quickly on that?
Yeah.
Look, I'm 29 years old, and the thought of that, I'm not ready for that. I'm gonna wait when I'm ready. I feel good. I feel like I do have the right person, but at the same time, I'm not ready for that. There's no rush. Take your time. These gentlemen got way more experience than me, so I'm gonna let you guys speak your piece. Thank you.
Well, for me, I was just like you. I'm glad you started with that foundation. I took my time. I'm 55 years old. My wife is 27. So it goes to let you show that I was taking my time in regards to doing this. I don't have any kids. I ain't got no child support, none of that in the States. So there's nothing wrong with doing exactly what that brother said, because I'm a byproduct of taking your time. The same thing that our brother Javier did, even though he was younger. Like I said, there was a lot of women in his life that he said no to get to his yes. Even though he got to his yes at a younger age, you better believe there was a lot of females he told no, because he had enough sense to and enough a manhood about himself to be able to tell women no. So my advice is this. I mean, we could go with the stats. On average, the average man that's married lives a lot longer lives about 10 to 15 years longer than a man that's not married. The man that is married, a man that is married lives about 10 to 15 years longer than a man that's not married. A man that is married, his economics becomes equivalent to a master's degree, even if he's just a blue collar worker, because of, and I'm going to say this again, in the grand scheme of things, a dude that's married focuses so much on the responsibility that he has behind him, like Javier and like Jorge. These gentlemen know that it's not just about me with my money. At the end of the day, they say statistically, it's as if these men have gathered a master's degree and went out here and gathered that level of economics of a master's degree because of the relationship that these gentlemen have, or relationship or responsibility. Another thing is, we already talked about the health, but another thing I found out is the other day, a man that marries a woman that's younger than him has a 20% more likely chance to live longer than a man that marries a woman that's older than him. However, here's the kicker. A woman that marries a younger or is in a long-term relationship with a younger man, her life expectancy is 20% less than a woman that would have married a man or been in a long-term relationship with a man that was older than her. It's equivalent to as if a woman at 40 years old who married a 35 or 30-year-old, as if she started smoking cigarettes. That's how her life expectancy picks up because she's with a younger man. However, for us, there is a physical benefit for us to have married a younger woman. That's why historically men have always married a woman that was younger than them, whether it be 2 years or 20 years, compared to a woman that marries a man that is younger, because they said there is no physical, social, or financial benefits for the most part for a woman that marries a younger man. So since I know all these facts, and I love the concept of marriage, I wouldn't even lie, that bond, that togetherness, I always say this, and I'm going to shut up. The only people that have ever said is just a piece of paper have never been married people or divorced people. Divorced people have never said, well, it's just a piece of paper. You ain't never heard that from a divorced person. And you have never heard from a person that's married, well, it's just a piece of paper. Until you get to the other side of the broom, you'll realize it's more than just a piece of paper.
Javier and Jorge, what you guys got to say about getting married overseas? What's the benefit?
Benefit for me, like I said, I mean, as a man, you got to know who you are as a man, and you got to know your truth, right? So for me personally, my truth is this. My truth is I have a 79-year-old mother with dementia. I'm not putting her through that, and I'm not putting the woman through that. That's why I create systems that work for me, because I don't care how cool she is. She can be an angel from the sky. We can have everything in common. We can have, my mom sometimes drive me crazy. Now, man, you know what I'm saying? So imagine, your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance. So you got to know your truth. Are you built for that? If you're not built for it, don't go ahead and put yourself in a situation. Is it right for your situation? Like mine, marriage, that type of stuff is not right for my situation at the moment. So I don't even entertain that like that, to be honest with you. I just create systems that function for me. Like marriage, nah.
Can I know Jorge wants to go on. I want to add something real quick. I mean, Javier, I'm sorry, brother. The benefit also of marrying somebody from another country or marrying overseas, they never meet the other you. I'm going to repeat that. The other benefit of marrying somebody in another country, they never will meet the other you. You're 9 to 5, get up in the morning, driving through traffic that's getting on your last nerve. your girl ain't never. Most guys, unless they take the girl to the States, that woman will never meet that you. You dealing with a police officer in your rearview mirror, she'll never meet that you. You dealing with arguments with your family that you don't get along with, but when you outside the States, you don't have to deal with them. There's a part of me Andrea will never meet. She doesn't know the 9 to 5 Andre, the 12-hour working Andre. She'll never meet that person. She'll never meet Andre that's been stopped by a cop and I still have a suit on and they still disrespect me as if I'm a thug with my pants hanging down. She'll never meet that Andre. So one of the biggest benefits if you do decide to be in a long-term relationship, because marriage is not for everybody, but some people just want to do long-term relationships with some good people, you have the benefit of them never seeing, and you're not hiding it, but them not having to deal with or you not having to present a side of you that only exists while you're in the United States. There's a side of me that only exists while I'm in the United States. And so Andrea has the benefit of never meeting that person, that other side of Andre that has to, like the one brother was said, the everyday rat race, running up and down, the go, money, and never building a family, never understand the work-life balance because we don't know what that is in the States, never understanding emotional intelligence because we don't know what that is in the States. But outside the country, the person that loves you get a chance to actually meet a side of you and not meet another side of you. I just want to get that out. My bad, brothers.
Yeah, Javier, you're up. Last one.
Yeah, I'll just say, so if you decide you want to eat out versus eating in at home, then you just got to decide what cuisine you want to eat. And if that involves taking a tasting around the world and finding out which cuisine works for you the best, that's all it is. And that's all. If it works for you, then go ahead. But once you cross that line, that's what you want to do. That's what you're looking for. That long term deal. Then it's up to you at that point to figure out where it works best for you. Not really magic to any particular place. It's just all about your own preferences and your own taste.
Amen.
Listen, answers to the test right now. If you guys are gonna come down here and get married and you're not sure, come back and watch this live. Or better yet, go to Jorge's channel, go to Love Crossing Borders, hit up Javier in one of the comments, whatever you gotta do. Whatever you gotta do. Let's take this last question. Solo DMB says Chapa also asks about the risk of marrying someone there, as we know there are pitfalls different from the States.
Well, here in Colombia, the divorce rate is only 9% of individuals that get divorced. Usually, people are together for L if they are going to get married. However, to be honest, because I'm a Libra, I got to make the scale balance. Most people do common law marriages because if you're in a relationship with somebody and you live under the same roof for 2 years, Colombia has a very strong national common law. So a lot of couples just stay together forever. And there's only 20% of us that actually jump the broom. So that's what makes the divorce rate so low, that most people are in common law marriages in South America, or at least in Colombia, compared to the United States that actually go through the whole process. But like I said, only 20% of us actually get married. And that's why the divorce rate here is so low. And so they do have child support here, but it's not as, so if you get a divorce, it's not as strenuous or starch as it is in the States. You do have economic responsibilities if you guys separate. So a lot of the same laws and a lot of the expectations are the same. It's kind of funny, when I got married, it's like they had the lady, the minister had a long laundry list of things that I was responsible for that could cause divorce. They tell you in advance, you cheat on her, she can divorce you. You beat on her, she can divorce you. You don't feed. I mean, it was like you don't feed the kids. You don't help the kids with the homework. I mean, it was like bam, 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 bam. They let you know in advance these things could cause a divorce. Not like the States where they just say, I do, and you're done. But they literally ran down the laundry list of what things that will cause her to for me to walk away in a divorce away from her, and what if I did these particular things, she could technically ask for a divorce. And so we don't do that in the States. We don't talk about those little things. So I noticed that was a little different here in Colombia. Now, not all marriage ceremonies here in Colombia are the same, but I'm glad that my marriage ceremony was like that, to where I can hear the truths up front and not on the back end during some divorce proceedings type of situation. But for the most part, the rules are the same no matter where you go here compared to United States.
Jorge, you have a comment on the risk of marrying someone overseas?
Remember the what they say sometimes: the fruit from the poisonous tree is. I've been married and divorced in the States. Just like if you come here and you deal with certain kind of people, you're gonna get into certain kind of trouble. The fruit from the poisonous tree. Those are the pitfalls. And they all start from picking the fruit from the wrong tree, just like anywhere else.
Where'd you pick the fruit from, if I may ask?
Huh?
Where'd you pick the fruit from?
The capital. But what I'm saying is anywhere though. Is anywhere. So if you do the bad job on vetting, if you don't go through what Dre say, meet the family, if you don't, put them through trial and tribulation, then you're gonna have problems. It's gonna end bad. But we should all learn from bad experience.
And here's the next steps, right? So once you do everything Dre talked about and everything Jorge just talked about, right? So you're at that next step. You're about to make, jump the broom, right? Don't think you can part-time it. Don't think you're gonna have a part-time boo over there, you're over here, and everything's gonna be all good. And a year and a half, 2 years, when the papers come through and you're gonna bring her over and you find out that she ain't there waiting for you, or something happened, or she cheated on you, or et cetera, et cetera. Don't think you can part-time it.
You say you gotta get your butt over here then.
Right. Either get over there or act like for real about it. Like, whether you can move over there or not, maybe you can, depending on your job or whatever. But if you're really, the thing is people always want to receive twice what they put out, right? So people don't want to put in the work, but then they expect, oh, they're gonna have a queen sitting there waiting for them, with the food on the stove for
and a chastity belt on
for any time that you show up, not knowing when you're gonna come or anything like that, just knowing you're just gonna pop up and, oh, everything better be on point. No, I don't work like that. Just like you wouldn't want that for yourself, you can't expect people to be sitting back waiting like that. And maybe, okay, there's certain again, people who are just ill-willed from the beginning, and there you missed step one, you failed at step one, which is what Dre and Jorge was talking about. But step two is you got to put in your part as well.
Yeah.
I want to comment on that. I've listened to too many stories from everyone around here about, they have a chick married here with a dude or whatever, and the person always ends up finding somebody else. There was a lady, I always hear stories like a lady's married to a dude in Spain, like my barber, for instance. This chick out of nowhere just walked up to him, hey, do you wanna be the guy that I have sex with or whatever, right? And he's like, okay. And she was like, I'm married, my husband sent the money every month. And she ends up falling in love with him, having sex with him, during that time, but she's still getting money from this dude. And you got to understand, everyone has needs. And I want to comment, whether you're with the girl 5 years or married for 5 years,
the woman is entitled to take half of what you and her have.
Yep.
And that's another thing that, like, for me personally, I'm not like I don't make crazy money, but I make good money enough to where I'm able to afford what I want. And that's another thing. Like I'm not trying to. Me personally, like, I want a woman that's I know is gonna work, doesn't have to make the same amount of money as me, but I want to know you have something to offer. And my girl's young and everything like that, but at the same time, she doesn't come from a family has things and stuff like that. But at the same time, for me personally, like, I'm in no rush to get married, man. I believe in marriage, but at the same time, I don't believe in, like, yo, this woman can take half your stuff that you work hard for. You feel me? So I'm just not for that. Not for that. I'm very independent, and like, my woman helps me a lot, but at the same time, I still want to see the growth. I want to see where she's at in 3-4 years. We'll keep moving. I live with her now, but it's not like I'm living with her forever, you know. And I'll just leave it at that.
Very open-minded statement from Truth on that. So there you have it. Great question about marriage and even better answers. So all the subscribers, we're about to end the live. This was a one-of-a-kind 2-part sequence, if I may have it. I just want to say thank you to everybody on the panel, to Jorge, Truth, Javier, Dre. Thank you guys for your time, your knowledge, your experience to come on here and to share it on this platform for both countries, for the DR, for Colombia, helping people find the word that was used earlier, the silver lining. And really thank you guys for getting together. My next live, y'all, will be Saturday by myself. It's going to be a very, very special live. I have a big announcement to make. So make sure you guys set your notifications on for this Saturday. Chapapa TV is going to be going live. Fellas, stay behind as soon as I end the live stream. But great live. I will definitely bookmark this, save it. A lot of notes, a lot of live experience. Listen, if you're gonna come down to DR, Colombia, Brazil, and you're not taking the notes from any of these brothers here, you failed the test. You just handle your Scantron and leave the room. You failed the test because there's no reason why you should not be winning after this live. Appreciate you guys for watching. Till Saturday, make sure you guys go subscribe to Jorge's channel one more time, and also Brown Space channel and Love Across the Board. So we have already. Listen, I'm apart from this live, I made some. I would like to call these two gentlemen my friends, but I've made friends with Truth and Javier because the insight these brothers had, the support they gave me on the channel, I could call them friends. Definitely, I already got Chapapa TV hats ready for them whenever they pull up. And who knows, we'll probably get together later on another live because there's just so much to talk about here in the DR. And Javier's moving down here in the summer, so it'll definitely be a good interview to see what that process is like going for him because summer isn't too far away. For those of you who are looking to, for those of you who are not too far behind on the move. So definitely, guys, to the next one, fellas, stay put. I'm about to end the live right now.